Boom. Welcome back, y'all, to episode 240 of the Unemployed and Successful podcast. I am joined today by about nine friends. We are doing a live workshop, and that's unusual. We've never done anything like this on the podcast. But this week, I was sitting and I was like, man, I need to get a grip on my content because I've been having a love-hate relationship with my content. And there are days where I get in there and I'm like, oh, this post is gonna hit. Specifically around January 10th of this year, I looked at my page and I was like, I am crushing it since the new year. Like my aesthetic was dialed. I felt really proud of who I was showing up as far as like the aspects of my life that were getting shared. We had snowboarding, snowmobiling, like I was living some cool days. Was like, man, I would follow me, right? And you guys have probably had moments of that where you're like, yeah, I'm proud of how it's going. And then a couple weeks later, something happens and you slide out of this rhythm. Or in my case, I contracted plague on January 6th. And so when I ran out of content planned on January 9th, everything went downhill and I didn't want to show my face on camera and I had nothing batched. And I was like, well, I guess we're not going to post for 6 days. And then coming back from being sick, nobody really wants to post, right? It's not like a sexy vibe. You're like, skin is the wrong color and you're tired and all your to-do list is like 7 miles long and you need a car wash because it snowed 3 times. Like it was just a whole shit show, okay? And I was like, there's gotta be a way for me to dial this in for this year. If I'm gonna be who I say I'm gonna be, I gotta figure this out. And this has happened multiple times over the years, right? There's been many times where I've had to like tighten up my shoelaces on my content for whatever reason. I want to make more money. I want to land a brand deal. I'm applying for jobs that require me to have a social media presence. I am a leader, period. I run a sales team. I am networking in rooms with Grant Cardone and Keaton Hoskins and Rob Bailey, and I can't really just look like it's slapped together. Like, whatever the reason is, right? You want to start a foundation. I know Ash has a business idea she's on of like, you're going to need to look like you know what you're doing. So, for whatever reason, I want you to write down your reason of like, why does my social need to be solid? And we're going to define what solid is, and like your standard of excellence is going to get defined today. But why do you care in the first place? Because if we don't know why, it's going to be really hard on the days where it feels clunky to keep going, right? So, at a glance, I don't want you to overthink this question. Why does it need to be solid? Give me your knee-jerk response. And if that knee-jerk response is, I have a big ego and I just want to be cool, that's fine. I don't actually care what you write down. And I don't think that's any of you guys. But I'm just saying, I've had like moments where it's like my childhood desire of wanting to be a celebrity comes back, and I'm like, I just want to be really cool. That's enough of a reason. Hell yeah. Like, get on there and be that cool girl. Hell yeah. Like, I'm down. There's also a deeper, right? Do you guys remember that Instagram trend that was like, if you were to ask me why I do design, I would tell you it's fun and it's cool. If you were to ask me on a deeper level, I would tell you, and it was like a big paragraph of text. I loved that trend. Some of the trends I don't love. That one was awesome. If you were to ask me why I do social media on a deeper level, I've thought about this a lot, so I'm going to share mine, come up with yours as you guys sit today. But on a deeper level, it's because I need to reach people. On a deeper level, it's because I need to understand that life is worth documenting, right? Like I truly believe that life is beautiful and it's worth capturing and sharing and celebrating. Joy shared is joy multiplied, as my friend Jess always says. And it's like, yeah, okay, on a deeper level, I'm trying to make you feel something. I'm not just here to be cool. I would love if I was cool, but at the end of the day, if I made you feel something, that's the real win, right? So understanding why. The second piece, the social. I'm gonna make a joke about this, but I want you to know that I'm very serious in what I'm about to say. Like, this could be really heavy, or this could be like, haha, that's so rad. Take it how you want to take it. I mean it both ways. The first step, and this might hurt to hear, the first step to great content is to be already living a great story. You need to have a life worth sharing. You need to have meaning. You need to have purpose. You don't need to have it all at once, okay? You need to be at least on a search for that. Why? The human condition is such that eventually we ask, why am I here? What is my purpose? What holds heart and meaning? And when we share from that place, the content lands. And when we don't share from that place, it feels like entertainment because that's what it is, right? So understanding, hey, I want to have a story worth sharing. So this starts when you look at really good content. I want you to think of your favorite person to follow. Just close your eyes. If you were to tell me their story in bullet points, you probably could. So I'm going to use Mr. Chris um, Seabum, bodybuilder. Okay, I really like following Seabum right now. I'm not a bodybuilder. You can open your eyes. Why? He's living a rad story. He got done bodybuilding and now he's building a family and he's like into biohacking and he's like into just holistic lifestyle. And I love seeing somebody go from the strict bodybuilding world to a more holistic lifestyle. Red light, probiotics, filtered water, right? These different things. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It's a story I'm reading through each and every post, a story without words, right? There's somebody else named Ben Christensen. He is and Joe, you might actually know him. He's in our neck of the woods down in Arizona, but incredible work. He's a videographer, a dad. His daughter's dance team went viral because they did a dance. I believe his wife somehow maybe is the choreographer or something. These girls did a Western style dance to the song Tulsa Time. It's like "Bam, bam, bam, bam," and the girls have their cowgirl hats and their boots, and it's really well choreographed. It's not like slutty dancing. It's like really festive, earthy, just grounded dancing, right? The girls are like 11 or 12. Well, this put him on my radar, and I started digging into his work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a creative director. Oh my gosh, you host retreats where you teach people creative direction. This is blowing my mind, right? But he and his wife and their daughter, they're living a story that I'm now invested in. They're in Arizona where I love it. I feel inspired. I want to see how they create as a couple. I have dreams of creating with my person our own things, but then a thing together, right? So just like there's a story there that I'm interested in reading one post at a time. And that's what this is. So the art of storytelling is really showing people, Jess is having a light bulb moment, is really showing people your life one tile at a time. And they fall in love with you as a person, right? And when I say they fall in love with you, I mean they connect with your heart. I want you to focus way less on what you are and way more on who you are. So, like the matters of the heart and mind are where connection blossoms from. The job title, don't care. The zip code, don't care. The accolades, don't care. And this is what I mean when I say social media is shifting, right? And it's like one of these things where it's no longer going to be about who you coached or what you built as much as it is who you were when you were doing those things. Does that make sense? Rock and roll, y'all. So, I made some slides this morning. I'm going to get those up on the screen and we are going to rip. I got super frustrated, like I was saying, with my own content strategy and was like, I need to get a grasp on this because I need to be efficient. So, anybody else in the room not have hours and hours and hours to spend on content every week? Hi, it's me. When I was fully self-employed, I still am fully self-employed, but when I was not working with Rob, I was just able to make content a lot more. Just had a lot more time. A lot busier right now. Still need a strategy. When I look at long-term goals, and goes back to the why are you showing up on social thing, I am not shy to say that I want to land 2 brand deals by the end of this year. If I'm going to land 2 brand deals by the end of this year, I'm going to need to look like a girl who deserves a brand deal, right? Plain and simple. The content strategy has to be dialed, the niche has to be dialed, the message has to be dialed. That's all true. How that happens is days like this, where you get intentional and then you stay in the same intention for 6 or 8 or 12 months, right? It's not overnight. Although your closest people will probably DM you in about 14 days and go, I don't know what your content's doing lately, but I love it because you got more intentional. It happens every single time. Somebody, whether they're an internet person or not, like they have a business online or not, will be like, girl, I've just been loving your content lately. I'm like, I know. I got intentional about it 2 weeks ago. I also have 4 beverages, guys, so you can count how many cups you see today in the frame. This is a mocktail, not a cocktail. It's 9 a.m., guys. Calm down. Okay. So you got a little Hi-O, the little stir electrolyte mixed into there. It's really, really good. It's the first drink. Dude, this cup was $6 of pure joy. Okay. I was at Home Goods and I was like, I'm gonna infuse joy into my life. I bought two of them. Anyway, that's how you should shop for things. Does it spark joy? That's what is it, Marie Kondo's whole thing. So anyway, I digress. I want to land a brand deal. I always reverse engineer for worst case scenario, right? I hope that I work for Rob until I'm old. I hope that it continues to be aligned. Things change in business all the time. Nothing is guaranteed, right? So we're going to have that in the back of our head. We're going to say, hey, if everything burned down tomorrow and you lost your contract or you said no for whatever reason, what would you hope you already had going? I want you guys to think about this. If your income was jeopardized, what would you wish you already had going? Like, what would you never regret doing, right? For me, it's like, oh, dude, I would host events. I would design some brand kits. I would kind of go back to the freelance slash retainer model, right? I was doing it in a very chaotic fashion, way too much volume, way too much turnover. But I can say, hey, those are still the skills I want to be known for. I still want to be looked at as somebody who really has a pulse on marketing and branding, really has a pulse on sales, and really has a pulse on lifestyle. She doesn't just work. So you'll hear that, and we'll come back to that. That was just off the top of my head. When we get to content pillars, those things are going to come through, right? As you guys are taking notes, I'm loving that I'm seeing typing and note taking. Note takers are money makers. That's what I always like to say. Um, and oh my gosh, Jess has us. This is awesome. Who works in marketing? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Shout out to Jess's client. So rad. So Jess does massage, just so you guys know, while she massages. Is not out of context. So um yeah, understanding like what would I want to be set up for regardless of how my circumstances go. Like the internet can be such a gold mine or not of a network. Is like, who would I want to be following? Who would I already want to be in DMs with? Like, just start connecting with people. There's gonna shout out Nathan and Justin, two guys that do van life that I follow that I've been really intentional about just supporting them. Why? Let's say I lose my job tomorrow, right? And the contract goes belly up. It's like, what would I do? I might call Nathan or Justin and say, hey, can I come meet up with you guys? You're living on the road, yeah? There, I would already be grateful for the connection. I might call Kirsten and say, can I come crash on your couch for a week? Hey, Greta, can I do the same thing? I might go do a tour de friends, right? Like, I don't know. But I always like to think about my worst case scenario being really rad still. It's like this could all flop and I would still have these skills and I would still have these relationships, right? So it comes back to that too. What story are you telling is like at the top. What relationships are you building? What skills are you building? Because those three things, intention, relationship, skill, is half of freedom right there, right? Time and cash flow being the other half. These things help you create better use of time, better cash flow, the social media engine. So when you think about in your life, what do I wish I had more of? It's usually time, money, skill, relationships. Rob talks about this in his Freedom Compass all the time. Well, this social media thing is like revving the engine to relationships, skill, connection, proximity. Use it, right? It's a no-brainer. So if I haven't made it strong enough case as to why this matters, I give up. That's why it matters. And we are going to hop into some slides and get this party started, so to speak. So these slides will be available to you guys after. I just want to stress that you're going to be able to copy this exact Canva deck and basically go through this as many times as you want. I also am working on a workbook version that's black and white that you can print out because I know a lot of you like to write on paper, and so do I. And then catch this vision with me. This is how my brain works. If they printed it out in a workbook version and they filled it out and they also printed out their mood board and their colors, this could become like something in a frame or on a cork board on your wall in your office that's like, oh, this is my brand at a glance. And I think anytime we can keep those things in front of us, it just helps. So that's where my head is going. The little oh boy in the corner, can you guys see that? I said, oh boy. That's how I felt when I sat down to do this. I prepped so minimally, so I'm presenting right now, but I'm gonna go back into editing mode and actually fill this out with you guys. The one thing I'll give you a heads up on is I can't really play music because it's copyrighted. And so this is going to be a podcast. It'll get flagged. If you guys want to play your own music, just please make sure that you're on mute, but absolutely do so. I might throw some headphones on and listen to some music because it's really weird for me to just create with like pin drop silence in my place right now. Sorry that I can't DJ for you, is what I'm saying. So these are the 6 things. This is a big old list of things. This is aggressive to do this in one sitting. So if you guys need to get up and walk around and just listen and come back to it, the replay will be there, the slides will be there, all the things. Somebody, and again, I sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not trying to. When you are as proficient and efficient as myself, you've done this for a decade. It is the back of my hand for me to look at market trends in 20 minutes, look at inspo accounts in 20 minutes, select a visual style like that. Why? There's prolonged brand alignment. I don't want you to see the pace that I'm working at today and think you have to work at that pace. I want you to understand conceptually what each of these steps are and then be able to do it. This might take you 6 hours the first time you do it, an hour each. That's okay. Please set a time limit, especially on these first 3, for an hour though. If it's taking you more than an hour, you're overthinking it, right? So I want to set a hard stop at an hour. I want to know that, hey, we're going to move quickly today because I've given this so much thought already. It's not always this quick. Market trends, I'm going to explain what each of these things are. So, market trends, we're going to first look at what is the market doing? Why are we starting with what is the market doing? A, I want this to be worth my time, right? B, this is where the frustration started. Remember when I was describing that day that I was on my phone where I was like, it feels like everything, I'm behind. There's like, I don't know, content shifting, I'm not with it. We're going to start with that feeling. What's happening? We're going to ask ourselves what's happening in the space or on the app or in the market that's making me feel like I want to update things. Let's get a pulse on what people are doing. So that's the first thing. Second thing is asking myself, like, who do I believe is doing it well? Who are my inspo accounts going to be? Who do I like how they're doing the trends? Who do I like how they're participating in social? I was kind of talking trash on the overly embellished authority figures, right? And it's like, hey, that's not doing it well in my eyes for me. For them, maybe, right? If it works for them, but that's not how I want to show up. So, who do I believe is doing it well? This is completely subjective. What do you deem as successful? What do you deem as aspirational, right? This is very values driven on who you are, what makes you tick. Visual style then is where we start to touch on a mini brand kit. Joanna has a full brand kit that we built out together. Greta has a full brand kit that we built out together, right? And it's like, okay, cool. We don't actually need that. We need colors and fonts initially. We don't actually need a logo to make money online. It makes us look more official, sure. It might help us with merch or event branding or whatever, but like it's not a barrier to entry to have a logo, right? So, visual style, how will I show up? What will I look like? What filters will I use or not use? Will I not use a filter? That's a whole aesthetic right there, filter free, right? Will I be gritty? Will I be dim? Will I be bright? Will I be light and airy? Those like whitewashed photos, right? Like what's your aesthetic? I should know it's your post before I even know it's your post. That's how I know you're crushing, right? It's like, oh, that has that vibe. Must be Johnny's post. Like Johnny's story, I don't have to be reading whose handle I'm on to know I'm on Johnny's story because she always uses the same 2 fonts. Hell yeah, right? That creative consistency, so solid. Pillars and plan. What is my voice? What am I here to say? How often am I showing up? What's my cadence? Greta, you were talking about that a minute ago, right? I'm going to show up on stories Monday through Friday. I'm going to post it at least 3 times. We need to have the minimum effective dose and the ideal dose written down, and we need to allow for human variance in between. Batching plan. This is where I'm really excited to show you guys what I'm up to. I make a shot list. I go shoot everything. I edit everything. I now have a bank of content to pull from. That's where I'm heading. I don't do that yet, but I need to be doing that if I'm going to do this thing, right? And it's like, oh, that's how a CMO, a chief marketing officer, would operate. I'm going to operate like that. I'm not going to operate like my business is a hobby. I'm going to operate like a freaking boss, right? And then weekly ritual, once I have a bank of content, I shouldn't need more than like an hour or two a week to crush this because I did all of these 5 steps to be organized in the first place. So if I'm that organized, why would I struggle weekly? Does that make sense? There's no way I could do steps 1 through 5 and then 6 be a hot mess. No. Clunky, new, yes. Hot mess, no. Cool? With me? The steps make sense. Rad, rad, rad. Okay, before that, let's understand the brand of maximum potency so that you guys know what you're looking at. Otherwise, this is all just noise today, and it's cool and it's cute, but it doesn't actually move you forward. Yes, vision and voice is a win. Exactly, Colin. So, the groundwork, some things I need you to know for context's sake is the meaning of maximum potency is this company was born when I said, what would happen if I gave a human all of the skill, all of not the skills, all of the ingredients to live a life at maximum potency. And that came from brain dumping and hearing my thoughts and being like, oh, a life at maximum potency, that's what we're engineering for. Sick, right? That's the meaning of the brand name. Rip on Life is the slogan. To extract all the juice out of life and ride it as far as you can is what I am here to do, right? My dad used to always call me Little Ripper. My friend Ryan, we were at CrossFit. I was like sprinting on the ski erg, and he was like, "Come on, Liz, rip it, Liz. Let's go, Liz. Rip on it, Liz." And I was like, "Rip on life. That's it. Oh my gosh. Carpe that diem, if you will." But it was my verbiage, right? So that's the slogan. The form it takes right now, the form can shift. The meaning and message usually doesn't shift, but design, marketing, and sales, that's the world that I'm in, including but not limited to brand in a day, website in a weekend, content in a week, the content road trips I used to do, custom consulting for strategies within sales, marketing, brand coherence, etc. Right? I just want this brand to feel alive and different and pattern disrupting. Alive, it makes you want to live harder. Different, it stops you in your tracks. Pattern disrupting, you question something on a deeper level. You feel something on a deeper level. It's a pattern disrupt. It takes you out of your normal. So, some things that we're not going to go through today are what's the meaning of your brand? What's the slogan of your brand? What are the offers that you have? I trust that you guys have a basic pulse on that, right? And how do you want it to feel is kind of where we're going to start today. This is all business development stuff. The rest is branding and positioning stuff. So I hold a belief that, and this is a quote that I saw one time, good art should disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. That's what good art is. Good art makes you feel something. There was a sign, this Beware of Artists sign on the wall at my favorite cafe in college. Beware of artists, they mix with all classes of society and are therefore the most dangerous. When I think of the vibe of being an artist who's also a marketer and a sales girl, and that's the vibe that we're going, right? It was founded on a distinct decision that my life could wake you or shake you from something you've been automatically doing and confront you with what's possible, right? This is what I want to do for people. If I can shake you awake, shake them awake, as I write that a lot in my journal, right? Is you've been humming along, and if I can make you go, oh shoot, that's possible, or oh shoot, I need to be showing up in this way, or oh shoot, that's that's the win, right? Is those pivot moments. So, the first thing I want you guys to do is make a word list. So, first official exercise, how do you want it to feel? Expressive, grounded, organized, lived in, casual, modern, analog, stylish, sleek. Those were my words when I did this the other day. I'm going to set a timer for 4 minutes. I want you to get down 5 to 10 words of how you want your brand to feel or your content to feel. Okay, I'm going to mute myself. 4 minute timer, rock and roll, and I will see you guys in 4 minutes. You guys good or you need more time? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. Rock stars. Okay. Yay. Intuitively, I was like, we don't need a full 4 minutes. Heck yeah. I would love to hear some of your words in the chat. If you guys want to drop maybe two or three, you don't need to drop your whole list per se. But let's see, what are some of the words that you guys came up with? Real, human, gritty. Heck yeah, that's already happening, just so you know. Um, Johnny, do you have an animal print that you specifically resonate with? Zebra, cheetah, etc. You can.
No, I
Okay.
don't. Um, no. I've never really like thought about it.
Okay. When I
Like,
look at
yeah,
you and I think about visuals, I think about black, gray, white, animal print, neon color. Like used sparingly, neon color. Used sparingly, the animal print. But there's a monotone, like girly gym rat vibe that's happening under there.
yeah,
So that's just a reflection. Take it or leave it. If it resonates, great. If not, great. But I just wanted to say that. Um,
thanks.
yeah. Kirsten, liberating, powerful, lighthearted, earthy. If earthy wasn't on your list, I was going to smack you. So good job. Yes, grounded or earthy is Kirsten in a nutshell. Organic is another one, not overly embellished, right? Like, I like that you and Cayman, your man, are like y'all present well, but it's down to earth, right? Grounded, yes, mu must be on there. I love it. So if you guys want to keep dropping those in. Positive, friendly, informative, clean. Kaylee, I would add bright to that. Your space is very bright. You are very bright. It makes sense. Colin, genuine and irreplicable. I love this. Greta, authentic, alive, magnetic, grounded, intentional, spiritual, elevated, quiet luxury. I like the quiet on that. That is spot on. Um, just random things that are coming to me. Greta, I need you to use the magnet emoji and the lightning bolt emoji often because those things are very you. Laptop emoji also. Girl that's like this also. Little sass, okay? I would add sassy to your brand. You're a good little sassy, spunky, zesty one of those. Joe, trusting, creative, action-taking, bold. Add the word sendy, please, full send. Lauren, artistic, soulful, earthy, adventurous, outdoors, just to name a few. Ash, insight, nature, conservation. I almost thought that said conversation because I'm dyslexic. Solutions, lava. Ash, I want playful to be added to yours. There's a grounded curiosity in your personality that makes me want to play like a kid. Full send, baby, Joe says. I love it. Okay, you guys are getting it. All of those, when I'm reading them, already feel like you personally. It's now, how do we feel like that on the screen? How do we feel like that in the way we show up, right? And for most of you, there's already a foundation of this happening already. So we're not reaching for anything. What I noticed when I looked at my words, and I added a couple more on this slide, was there was like two sides to my personality. Grounded was like the middle. So this one was overlapping both lists, but on one side, I had expressive, lived in, casual. I added these two, analog, barefoot. That is the part of me that's like, come on over, come on down. Let's put a record on. Let's make a mocktail. Let's cut off our jeans. I don't care if there's paint stains on my clothes. Like, it's the artist, right? Then there's this other side of me that's like deeply entrepreneurial, deeply like, what's the mission? What's the objective? Confrontational, even, right? And that side is like organized, type A, modern, stylish, sleek, confident. It's the part of me that wants to own a luxury SUV at some point. It's the part of me that like doesn't care. I don't care for the nice bag, right? The nice bag. The orange side of this chart is negating the nice bag for me. I don't really care about that. I'm going to use the $17 free people dupe hobo bag, right? But on the right side, it's like, well, I want my colors to be coordinated and I want my clothes to fit well. And I want to look like I gave a shit when I left the house. I'm not just this messy artist type. When I leaned too hard into this, I'm going to be very vulnerable with you guys. I had this was when I was 17 and I had my natural dreads and everybody just thought that I was like a stoner chick that just like hung out and just like to a degree I was, right? Kirsten's like, nope, not me, not me. And so then there's this other side of me, the super type A side that doesn't have any room to break routine because she's goal obsessed and she can't breathe and she's stressed and she has adrenal fatigue and she's doing 72 things. And it's like we have to allow those two sides of my personality to shine without either one taking over because we're grounded. So if in your words, maybe you do a star on some words and a dot next to the others, is there two categories revealing themselves or two sides to your personality? When there are two sides, they don't need to argue. They need to harmonize, right? When there's harmony in music, it's because two different things, two contrasting things are complementary. So we need to strike a balance. Contrast creates visual interest. Chaos, when done right, is very interesting. So I actually liked this when I started to realize, like, why do these two sides of my personality feel like they're fighting with one another? It's like, oh, no, 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 no. We need to figure out the ratio. It might not be 1 to 1. It might be 2 to 1. It might be a lot of expressive lived in casual analog barefoot with a dash of, oh, damn, she's got some swag. Oh, shit, she's organized. Oh, wow, this content's dialed, right? I want that to happen, but I don't want to only be this because this is standoffish. It's hard to approach. And I don't want to only be this because she looks unprepared and like she doesn't really care, right? So, interesting thing. Anyone else seeing two sides, just raise your hand. Hey, I can see that there's two sides in my brand. If not, totally cool. Okay. Boom. Market trends. We're gonna go have some fun. You guys ready? What the heck is happening? I'm actually gonna airdrop 4 images from my phone to my laptop because these are the 4 images, if you guys remember, that were on the like ad for this class. I say ad very loosely, but thing I threw up on my story. Um, these 4 images were what started this whole concept for me the other day. I was already feeling frustrated, already feeling like, ugh, I need to like do something, I need to change something. And then these came across my desk, and why can't I see them? They're airdropped, but they're just chilling. Hang on. Maybe I'll text them to myself. No biggie. So these images were like, oh no, there's concretely something happening here, and I really need to get a grip on it. Anybody ever feel like that? Like, I gotta get a grip. So let's figure out where they are. And if I have to email them, I will. We can go completely old school if I need to. Just give me 1 second, y'all. Hey, I should have dropped these ahead of time, apparently. My bad, guys. Is this just not so annoying? Okay, y'all. Third attempt. Oh, it's still sending. Okay, we'll let it be slow. That's fine. I was looking around on social and I'll just start to verbalize and then I'll show you the images in a second. But collage, anybody seeing more like collage elements on Instagram recently? A crumpled up piece of paper, handwriting, like cool layering where there's like an image with text on top of it, but it's not how it used to be, right? It used to be just an image with like text. That's it. Like it's not like that anymore. It's like stylized text and things like that. So let's see what I'm talking about here, y'all. All right. Screen share my iMessage. You guys, I must trust you. We're in my inbox together. Shit. So the only juicy thing you're gonna see is me telling Lad good morning. Good grand rising, my hottie gelati is a very funny text to screen share, but I'll take it. So this is what I'm talking about. Can you guys see this when I double clicked it or no? Yeah, you see one big tile or no? Okay, let's try it this way. Now we see all 4 tiles, yeah? Okay, rad. So I don't care that they're not full screen. I know they're going to be tiny, but for a high level overview, this is fine. So what I was talking about was stylized text, right? You see these hand scripts in the bottom of the second image, right? Maybe in another life, and it says, nah, honey, in this one. Then the slide over is also a bunch of handwritten text, right? If we look at the first tile on the left, there's that pink and blue one where there's like a texture and then a handwritten thing. How did someone make that? Right? These are the first things that my brain goes into like, how did someone make that and decide it was their content for the day? I have no idea. But like that's cool. And then this how I edit is on this one in the middle. And I'll put these in your workbook so you guys can like see these better later. But just hear me. I'm looking at my explore page and I'm going like something is drastically different than it was 2 years ago. And if I don't acclimate, not conform or not duplicate, but acclimate, I'm gonna fall behind if my content looks the same as it did in 2023. Because it's just I need to keep a pulse on the market. Um, really stylized text. There's really fun textures. So you can see that checkerboard on one, stripes on another, the hand-drawn pink and blue on that left. Um, People are doing split screen. So two tiles. People are doing three tiles. One, two, three. If you look to the far right, you'll see those eyes. That tri-split or that bi-split, which is the two, is very cinematic. Something like Kirsten, pass that to Cayman. Do a split screen carousel once a week. Boom. Like it's so rad for things like photo series, travel series, a grouping of images that go together, right? Um, Creates visual interest, does something different. There is also a lot of contrasting fonts. So you'll see this later. We're going to look at someone's page named Julia, and Julia has two fonts and they're very editorial, like editorial text. And if you guys don't know what I mean, I'll show you. Um, is in style right now. Do I want to do that? I don't know, but it's worth noting what are people doing that's working because everything on your explore page, I want you to open Instagram really quick. Everything on your explore page is doing well. They don't put posts on the explore page that aren't doing well. So if you want to know, hey, what's doing well right now, just go to your explore page, right? And it's going to be customized to you. Everybody's is going to look different. It's based on your algorithm. Now, just refresh it real quick. Take a glance and then refresh it. And it's going to give you a whole bunch of new posts. And then we're going to do this two more times. We're going to refresh two more times. So screenshot it if there's something you love. Only look at the first 12 posts. We don't need to be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And then hit refresh again. And we're going to do this two or three more times. I want you guys to continually refresh and ask yourself, what do I keep seeing? Why does this make so much sense? It's kind of the same vibe every time, right? Yes, it's curated to you, but it's also what's doing well on the platform right now. Did you guys ever use your explore page like this as like a market pulse? Yeah. Okay. No, yes. Right. I usually don't use it when I'm trying to make a content strategy, but I'm gonna start because Instagram's literally telling you this is a cheat code. This is what's crushing right now. Why would I not look at it? I've like forget it exists. Oh my gosh, it's so helpful for me to see 12 posts like this and then hit refresh, and then 12 and then hit refresh. And what you'll notice is it starts to repeat at a certain point. You'll be like, oh, I saw that post a couple of days ago, or whatever, right? So I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you guys see my phone? If I get it in here. Can you see that there's like a tri-colored mocktail right here? Yeah. Does my Instagram know me or does my Instagram know me? Right. So there's always like those little things. I want you to observe, hey, what do I like? Is there anything you just saw that you loved? Write it down. I loved that this one person had a coffee cup collage outline with cool text. It could literally sound like that. Um, I love that people do faceless recipe videos. I want to see the recipe, not your face. Cool. Awesome. Love that. I love when people post skateboarding content. I love when people show their jewelry. I like when people wear too much jewelry. I just want you to write down some sentences like that, right? Nothing that's overly specific. You shouldn't need to screenshot it even. You should just be able to like write. I like when things are well lit. I like when things have a white background. I hate when things have a white background. Have an opinion, right? Chaos, not stuff you were interested. That's so funny, Kaylee. If that's not a good spot for you to do research, do you have a Pinterest that's more curated to you? Probably. Sometimes our Explore, if we don't engage on the platform a lot, is really wonky. But find a place that you can look at visual content and go. And I think, Kaylee, over time too, it will curate, right? Sometimes it's like really random. When I have a newer account, it's usually really random too. Or an older account where I haven't curated it, there's no theme. But Instagram knows what I like because I watch Reels way too much, way more than I need to. Um, and so it kind of got me figure out. Yes, Kirsten, question.
Yes. Okay. So my Instagram, what I'm seeing, I really love like the static images of just like outdoorsy. I'm a big outdoorsy person. Um, I have been taught by coaches like get strategic with what your posts are about, like add text to the photo. But I like absolutely hate that. But I want to make sure I'm marketing what I do so that people see what I do rather than just like, I'm an outdoorsy page and I like going outside, follow me for fun. But I want to also like make money. So like I don't really know the balance is really my question.
Okay, cool. I like this. Two things. If you like wordless, beautiful, outdoorsy photos, the first question is, do I have those? The answer is yes, I do, right? Cayman's taken some rad photos of you outside. I love it. You have probably taken some rad photos of landscapes or sunrises or sunsets too. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
When you post a reel, you know you can edit the cover even after it's posted,
Yeah.
right? Throw one of those images on as your reel cover and make that a thing that you do. When it's face to cam and the freeze frame is going to be weird, it gives your page aesthetic, it gives your page vibe, but when I click into that image, it's not a video of you hiking in Utah, it's a video of you in the gym, right? Obviously. So that's a stylistic thing that you can do if you just want to use more images like that. The other thing is when we get to post archetypes, we'll talk about is one of your posts every week just a photo dump of beautiful outside stuff. Just a grab bag, 6 to 10 images. That also builds your brand because as much as it's, yes, I need to sell and make money and show my expertise, it's also I need to show that I'm walking the walk. You don't just preach, hey, train like an outdoor athlete and then not go play outside, right?
Yeah.
So we just need a theme for those photo dumps, something like played outside this week, played outside this week, part 32, played outside this week, part 82. Like, let it be something that's predictable and not random. The random use of those images is where it's like, did she not have something to post today? So she just like put up a picture from a hike last summer? Not how we want to use it. Use it on your story, use it on your highlight covers. Like, yes, I agree. There needs to be more outdoor footage, for lack of a better word. It doesn't actually have to be video, but you get what I'm saying. Your page should feel like a cross between an REI catalog and a gym rat. And if it doesn't, our ratios are off, right? And right now it feels like an artsy gym rat. It's like, yeah, lean into that artsy even more. That's the thing that's going to make me work with you because I don't just see you posting gym, 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 right? It's gym, outside, outside, gym, train for outdoors, train for your sport, da, 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 da. Yeah. And nutrition.
Yeah.
Your nutrition is also super approachable and easy. So I would also show some of that visually. Rock and roll? Is that helpful?
Dope.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. So, okay, we got a pulse on what's happening. I kind of gave you guys my notes out loud, so I'm just gonna keep going there. Okay, inspiration accounts. This is where I definitely prepared, or we would have been here all day. For time's sake, I did this part ahead of time, okay? Who is doing it well that I believe? And maybe you guys will be inspired by what's inspiring me, or maybe you'll have your own. Totally cool either way. These were 6 pages that stood out to me, and I'm just going to talk through them literally based on the screenshots because if I really go to all these pages again, we'll go on a safari and we won't get much done. So, you probably have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 creators that you like, love, and constantly share their stuff. True or false? True, false. True? You got people that you believe do Instagram well in your life? Yes. Or whatever platform you're on. Could be yes, Rachel Bell, awesome. Okay, yes, yes, yes. I love this. So, Jimmy Queen, I'm going to tell you guys what I like about each of these people, but first, I'm just going to tell you who these people are. Jimmy Queen is a fashion designer and a lifestyle brand out of California. He's not in my niche, but I damn straight like love his style, right? Rachel Bell helps people build personal brands. Nathan, remember I mentioned Nathan and Justin? Nathan is a van lifer, specializes in very unembellished, honest content, right? Not the most visually organized content, but like I watch every one of his reels with sound on. There's a reason for that. He hooks me in the camera. He's got a good presence, right? Barebone Art. If you guys don't follow Emma, I don't know what you're doing. All of you would love this in this room. She's an artist out of California. Her neighbor, she went viral because her neighbor is a guy from Pennsylvania who comes over and chats her ear off while she works in her garage. And I heard his Pennsylvania accent and was like, oh, I know that voice. She doesn't show him, it's just the audio of them chit-chatting. She'll do like her working with a voicemail from her dad playing. So, really good storytelling. She sells art, but she's never selling art. Does that make sense? Like her reel is never like, buy my piece. I'm like, this is so sick. So, also a lifestyle brand. Julia Broom teaches people content inside and out. Stresses me out. She's so type A, but also inspires me. So, it's like, can I take a page out of this book without becoming this calculated? Because I want to be more organic, lived in, down to earth, right? Selling Sarah. She documents herself cold calling people. I work in sales. I am addicted to her reels. The ones about her wedding and her apartment, not as much, right? She's got some other pillars that don't resonate, but her cold calling, so relatable. Love it. So that's what these people do. Next slide. This is why I love them, right? So Jimmy Queen, raw, rowdy, stylish, California. When you review an account, 4 bullet points. Why do you like it? What's inspiring? Jimmy is raw, rowdy, stylish, and lives in California. When I say California as a bullet point here, he literally, like, I could look at a picture of him at a gas station and be like, that's a California gas station. He makes me be able to taste it. It's such good imagery. Rachel, casual, super casual, anti-formal, love it. Knows her stuff, great visuals, has a very distinct flavor. Nathan, super relatable, traveling always, entertaining, radically honest. Emma, barebone art, shows her working versus shows her work. That was when I wrote that bullet point down, I was like, oh my God, I need to do that. Show me you in process, not the finished product. Huh. Creative capture, so meaning she captures things very creatively. Great aesthetic and super down to earth. Like I've messaged with her, super approachable. Love that. I wish to be like that. Julia Broom, so professional, so pro, but I admire it, right? But I want my own version of it. Organized, captivating, phenomenal hooks, and the visuals with a bunch of exclamation points should tell you enough things about how I feel about how her page looks, right? Freaking goat right there. Selling Sarah, I find her sales content addicting, love her New Jersey accent, and the take me with you vibe. So even though I don't care that she's apartment shopping in New York City, I still know that, don't I? That means I was paying attention a little bit. So I like that she's always like, come with me too, blah, 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 and really takes you with her and does it in a way where she doesn't waste your time. She's just really cool. So does this part make sense? This is something to come back to. Find some accounts, write down 4 bullet points about why you love them, what stands out to you, what you wish to emulate. There's another one here that I tacked on. I'm going to actually screen share her. Her name is Not Summer, and um, she's in Arizona and she's a runner. And I'm not really a runner per se, but man, she makes me want to run. And I know we've got some fitness professionals in the room, which is why I wanted to analyze this one together. Great content strategy, working with brands, ran her first 50K over the summer, and is absolutely crushing from the perspective that I'm talking about, which is casual and professional, that blend of like really organized shit together person, but also really approachable and the vibe that I wish to be. So, an example of a carousel here. What do I like about this? Well, first of all, there's grain on this image. So, the way the image is edited, phenomenal. The image also has orange and pink undertones, which is why her skin looks kind of pink. So, these are things that I'm like, huh, I like this, right? Arizona landscape, blurry, partner, no faces. Interesting. Kind of a cool shot, right? Not your normal, just like selfie. Love this. I don't know who took this. Phenomenal. They're clearly showing off their t-shirt, right? There's a reason why it's the back, it's the back, it's the back. Let's do another one. These training recaps. I've completely bummed these off of her. If you guys have seen me do a training recap inspired by her, even used a similar font. She's obviously training for mileage. I'm training for something much different, put my own spin on it. Again, grainy image, candid image. She is not at the camera like this every single time. She is always in motion, always living, right? This like lower quality video. I love it. It feels like Vine. You guys remember Vine? It feels so lifey. It also feels like a homemade video. I feel like I'm watching somebody's like video they're going to show their granddaughter in 20 years, 40 years, 50 years. It's so crazy. Okay, more candids. I like that the car door is hanging open. I feel like I'm there, right? Like this is phenomenal content. This is her and her man shoot this. This is nothing that you guys, we can't do. This isn't drone shots and fancy cameras, and they definitely have like a Sony or something that they shoot with, but that's not what's making the piece. It's the intention behind it. One posed picture, right? I literally feel like I'm there. I'm gonna start going quicker. But it feels like I'm looking at their like yearbook or something or their photo album. I like absolutely love it. Let's take a look at a face to cam piece. Okay. Even when she's face to camera, like there's definitely a ring light involved here. But she's casual, she's cracking up. It's not this like she doesn't take herself too seriously. It's like this is how I want to feel on camera. I don't want to feel stuffy and overly professional at all, ever. And then last thing I wanted to show you guys here is if we scroll down and we go back to what was happening in the beginning versus what's happening now, I think it's really, really cool to say, where did someone start? This looks different, right? But also looks the same, right? And it's like, oh, this is so cool. So these training recaps, they started really simply. These are just iPhone photos with a good filter. That's it. So like also just seeing somebody progress is so, so rad. Um, Again, iPhone picture. I hope to be like this. I hope my iPhone shit does so well that I need to go get a Sony. Like that's what happened. She landed a brand deal or two and she's like, wait, I should probably upgrade my camera, right? Naturally. And so I just like love the progression. I wanted to really highlight her. Her haircut is also super rad. She's just a rad chick, right? She strikes the balance also of like girly, artsy, outdoorsy. Like she inspires me on like a lookbook perspective too. So all these things that I'm saying, it's like take into account what you're wearing, what you're showing, what you're not showing. It doesn't always have to be this fancy thing. So, wanted to pop over there and just show you guys that. So that's what it's like when I look at accounts and say, okay, here's who's doing it well. Visual style. Number 3. You guys, we need a breather. Are we good? We got a pulse on the market. We found out who's doing it well. We're a third of the way there. Rock and friggin' roll. Okay, how will I show up? What will I look like? This is gonna get fun. Because look how much I have down. Nothing. I have nothing. I'm about to choose all of this with you guys here. So it's gonna be really weird for me to do this with you guys on live. But fuck it. Right? One of those things where you're like, yeah, let's rip. So one of the things that I want is new fonts. I might keep some of my old fonts. I'm not going to waste time showing you guys the old fonts and going through like what the brand has looked like over the years. If you want to see that stuff, let me know. I can send you the OG brand board and whatever. But it doesn't really matter where we've been. Kind of matters a lot more where we're going. So fonts and these colors for this slideshow are just dopamine colors. They're actually the colors of my podcast with my friend Jess, and I love them. I've been leaning into way brighter colors recently, and I'm like, where has this been my whole life? I don't know if it's like being in the gray of winter. I don't know what's going on, but these are some of the things that I just really feel like um, I want to lean into. So, yes, you absolutely can change things. Be mindful of how much you're changing them. Like, change them around and get situated, and then commit for X amount of months you pick, right? I might do a brand refresh every year, like permission to change it all a year from now. But don't change it in 6 weeks because you're just getting consistent and then all of a sudden it changes. Like, think about if you were dating somebody and they had hobbies, and then a year from now their hobbies shifted. It wouldn't be that weird. But if like every weekend they had different hobbies, you'd be like, are you unstable? Are you okay? It's a funny example, but like this is building trust with people. So when we change it, we have to change it in a way where we are not just like throwing all the trust we've built out the window. So I might change my fonts, and then a few months later, I might change my colors. And then a few months later, I might change my textures, right? You can definitely swap things out. You also can definitely be seasonal. So I'm going to actually sneak peek you guys over to some colors that I was considering bringing in. I'm not saying I'm going to have all these, but I might use highlighter green a lot in the summer. And then I might lean into my blue and purple in the winter. And then I might, but they're still there. It's just the ratios become different, right? So the crayons in the box, so to speak, aren't necessarily changing, but I might be using black with a pop of color in the winter and color with a pop of black in the winter, right? So the same way you would do with your wardrobe. You're not going to wear a hoodie as much in the summer. right? Just by the nature of it, unless you're a wrestler and then you're trying to make weight or something. But um, it's just like, I also like this pink color. So this is me having a complete dopamine maximalist moment on somebody who's usually really minimalist. Like, I'm usually just like, yeah, black and a little bit of teal. And like, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to be really loud this year. My word for the year, do you guys do word of the year? You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, so instead of a New Year's resolution, I set a word that I'm going to lean into or embody for the year. And I think this might have started with like, I think church people do this a lot. I don't know. I don't know where I got it, but my mom's just a hippie. No idea. By the way, I'm holding down the option key and dragging to duplicate this shape, just so you guys know. Um, my word for the year was emergence. Emergence. Like I'm emerging, I'm here, open sesame. I don't know, the colors feel like a embodiment of that. I'm gonna bring back this word list close to where we're working here. Expressive and lived in. Do the colors feel expressive? Yeah, maybe a little too much, right? I don't know how you guys feel about these colors. They're a little noisy. Um, Casual, analog, barefoot. Yes. Do these feel professional? Not really. Are the brands that I want to work with quote unquote professional? Well, one of them, their stuff looks like this. My Hio, the color. I don't know. Seems like the brands I might want to work with might actually dig this, right? Thinking about that. Outdoor brands and non-alcoholic brands like the mocktail industry is what I'm trying to break into. So when I think about the REI hammocks, for example, very colorful. When I think about the mocktail industry, also very colorful. When I think about even like, these are the flowers that Lad got me for Valentine's Day, he picked colors. That's worth noting. He did not bring me all red roses. Why? I'm not an all red roses kind of girl, right? So just understanding like, what are my colors I'm leaning into? This is basically going to say, hey, who do I feel like in this season or this era of my life? And how much of that do I want to show? Right? So, Johnny, yes, it's super important to be who you are. Figure out who that is and make it feel like that on screen, not to just go on Pinterest and search somebody else's brand kit. It's like if I got on Instagram and I was wearing a business suit, would you guys not just like keel over? Like, is this April Fool's Day? Like, what does she do? If I ever get on the gram in a blazer and I'm not public speaking, the only appropriate time for a blazer is if I like drop a best-selling book and it's on the New York Times bestseller list and there's a red carpet event. Otherwise, if you see me in a blazer, call me and ask me if I'm okay. I'm not. Check on your friends, okay? If I'm in a blazer, it's going to be probably neon orange, so just be ready for that, okay? Clementine, if you will. Um, Something's wrong. Now, if I'm dressed like I'm going to Cabo, but I'm in Michigan, anybody going to be surprised by that? Nope, not at all. So, little litmus test on the personality. So, fonts, what I'm going to do here, and this may take you guys a little bit longer, but I'm going to give you the vocabulary for it to go well, is I'm going to keep everything in all caps right now. You can change this. Uppercase, lowercase. I probably typed this with caps lock on, but normally you can go like this and toggle back and forth, which is exactly what I want to be able to do here. But if I don't like the font in all capitals, I don't like the font, period. The exception there is a script font, a cursive font will look really weird in all caps. So one of my fonts that I think I'm going to keep in the mix is Helvetica now. Helvetica is there's an entire documentary written on or created on Helvetica, the font, and it is the font that says nothing. So the font itself doesn't distract from the message being displayed. It is the ultimate neutral. If I'm going to use colors this crazy, I should probably have a relaxing font. Yeah? At least one of them should be a relaxing font. The other fonts that I have been leaning into and really like lately are this Roca 1. Kirsten, you should please use this. Or Roca 2. And this, there's one called Mono something. So Mono is a monotype, is another type of font that almost looks like a digital clock. Yeah? You guys see that vibe? Roboto Mono is another one I really like. These two don't really look that good together, do they? They're okay. Like these pair really well together. That first and that second. And a lot of this, guys, is just intuitive from going to school for design. So just it's caught, not taught. Just watch me and you'll probably pick something up. I love that you guys are in the chat laughing about the blazer. It's so funny. Um, I haven't seen the middle, Colin, reading the chat, channeling my inner brick heck right now. I don't know what that means, but that sounds really awesome. And I like that the last name is Heck. Heck and yeah. So these are some fonts that I like. What there's a what is it called? Here it is. I can go to any, it's called What Font. Wow, that's so creative. What Font, Google Chrome extension. Somebody tell me a food brand that they like. What's your favorite snacks right now? Oh my gosh, a font club. It's amazing. So I'm going to use True Fruit as no, Fruit Riot. I'm going to use Fruit Riot as an example. Okay, you guys know this product? It's a citric acid coated piece of fruit. Tastes like candy and fruit together. Okay, well, I want to know what font this is. So I'm going to click on what font. I'm going to hover over the font and it's literally going to tell me, well, maybe not in an image, but on the web page, this font over here is called Nunito. I've heard of it before. Okay, so now the more I click, the more crazy this is going to get. So you got to close these out when you're done. This, let's see if there's another font on this page. Nutrition facts. Oh, that's an image as well. Hang on, let's try another site. Let's go over to let's go to Hio site. Why not? Whoops. Why not? Okay, we're gonna go to Hio. We're gonna go to what font? Oh, this is gonna be a good one. I have no idea what font this is, but man, oh man, we're about to find out, aren't we? So, oh, Larkin. Cool. So I can literally go find a font in the wild and identify it. And then I can decide if I want to buy that font or not. Because you guys know you can upload into Canva. You can buy a font and upload it, and no one else will really have it because it's not as popularized as the ones that are pre-installed in Canva. So it is very easy. If you go on YouTube, good old YouTube University, you can literally say how to upload a custom font to Canva. We're not going to go through every single step here, but it'll be a very easy 2-minute tutorial. So Acumen Pro Semi-Condensed is this review font. You guys, this plugin, you'll just go what font, Google plugin, it'll pop right up. You can install that, it's free, and it literally lives there. Now I do the same thing with a plugin called Colorzilla. Let's say I want to know exactly what color something is. I click this and I hit pick color from page, and I can literally grab the exact hex code off of this letter. You see it popping up at the top there, 414042. Or I can go over here and grab the yellow. I can color drop from an image, right? And a lot of times what I'll do for people's color schemes is I'll make a mood board with them and then I'll color drop with this font, or I mean with this plugin from their mood board. Because the images that you put on your Pinterest or your mood board that you like, they're probably colors you like. You were drawn to them for a reason, right? So this blue is really nice. I'm going to click on it. It's actually going to copy that color and I can come back over into here, grab this, the plus, and then paste that. And there's that same blue off of that site from their sky. Pretty rad. So there's some tools here, Colorzilla and what font. You can also capture, I'm just going to give you guys one more plugin. It's called Go Full Page, and it'll screenshot the entire page and print it out as a PDF for your keeping. You can do that with any website. Go Full Page. So if I liked the editorial layout of this, let's just say, I can literally go like this. It'll screenshot a little Pac-Man, just don't leave the tab, the whole entire page, and it'll spit it out for me as a PDF in a new tab, just like this. So if you guys see anything out in the wild, this is the modern equivalent of clipping magazines. What font was that? What color was that? What image was that? What layout was that? That's how you capture it, just so you know. Helpful or overwhelming? Maybe a little bit of both, but some things that have kept me going. So fonts, we've got 3 fonts. I'm going to find 2 more, and then I'm going to talk you guys through just some of the things that I'm going to be asking myself. So a monotype, there's also something called a slab font. This is just to help you guys. Slab fonts are typically chunkier fonts like this chunk 5. They're going to be a lot more like squared off, almost varsity letter vibes. Um, Typewriter mixed with varsity letter is what I always like to say. The typewriter fonts, the Western fonts, if you're looking for that type of thing. Then we have serif fonts, which have little feet on them. Okay, so what do I mean by feet? Let's do a little font study here. Deja vu serif. This guy has little feet, right? There's like the little feet on the N, the little feet on the F. A sans serif literally means without feet, I'm pretty sure. In my brain, that's what it means. And it's going to be a font where there's no little feet. Okay, it's going to be a font like this. Hello. That's maybe a bad example. It looks like the Hello toothpaste font, actually. But let's go sans serif. I'll find you guys a classic. This is a classic sans serif. It looks like an iPhone font, not a newspaper font. So sans serif is easiest to read on a screen. If you go on any website, you're most likely going to find a sans serif font. If you go on any book, if anybody has a book near them, open the book and tell me if the font in the book has feet on it. It does. When you are looking at print, you're almost always going to see these little feet on things. Does that make sense, guys? So what does that mean for online creators? We need a sans serif font for sure because we're creating on the screen. We also would like to have a serif. So one of my fonts is going to have feet. One of my fonts isn't going to have feet. And one of my fonts is going to be a display font, aka something that I would only ever use sparingly. So I'm going to show you guys an example of a display font that I've used in the past. California Palm Sans. I would never type a full paragraph in that because I don't hate you, right? So sparingly, yo, really fun. Sparingly, summer, really fun. But I'm not going to type paragraphs and paragraphs. So display font, they're going to be crazy. They're going to be things like this. I'm not going to type a whole paragraph in that because I love you. So when you are building out a font trio, we'll say, we need a display font, we need a sans serif font, and we need a serif font. If we're going to just go for the basics. Okay, these do not look good together. This is not a good trio, and I can just feel it. I don't like it. I don't want to keep looking at it. Now, my display font could get swapped out for a mono font, just like this one we were talking about, right? That's totally cool with me if that happens. Or my serif font, my feet font, can get swapped out for a mono. So there's different ways to make trios. I'm just showing you guys that the most basic is display, sans serif, serif. That's the OG trio. If you want to go crazy, you can. Okay. Taylor Penton is a font designer who makes a lot of really good fonts. So you guys aren't going to have these in there, but this would also be a display font. I like those two together a lot. That's a good duo at least, right? So you'll start to find things that you're like, "Oh, this is a good pairing. I actually like these together." I can also take this off of bold, create even more contrast. Italic, beautiful. So one of the reasons I always keep Helvetica or similar in there is because this is all the same font. There's so many options. This is still the same font. Can spread the letters out, right? You can just do so much with it. So we'll keep that there. I actually am loving this one, which is so strange. So let's pretend it says content party. Do I still like it? Medium. Cool. I'm going to play around with spacing. Again, like I said, a lot of this is caught, not taught, y'all. So I'm just going to play around here and pick my fonts kind of in silence. If you guys want to also pick your fonts or mess around with fonts right now, feel free. If you just want to watch, also feel free. Rad? So my first font is Helvetica for sure. And I'm going to show you guys Taylor Penton's fonts real quick because they're my favorite. One of the things I'm leaning into is I really want to head down this like more nostalgic analog meets digital vibe. And so I'm actually really liking this cursive. Um, cool, that's a candidate. I'm not going to buy anything until I'm sure, just so you guys know, you'll see kind of how I iterate here. If you hold command and click anything, it opens it in a new tab. Some of you guys may know that or may not know that, but it's one of my keyboard shortcuts. Another site you can look at fonts on, because this is really rad. You guys see how much easier this is than like the Canva fonts library, is to go to creativemarket.com and you can go to fonts and you can look through fonts very easily and search things. Like I love this. I think this is super rad. Bromos, are we serious? I can just picture my art collection with this font. Love this. Super organic, crunchy, rad. This might be coming home with us. Hippies use side door is a good phrase for me to use as far as like a tester phrase here. All right, I really like this as a display font. So let's screenshot it and let's bring it over into Canva and let's see how it parties with the others. Oops. Whoa, guys, sorry. So I'm looking for a display font. We've got this one as a nice little staple. What do I want that top font to be? So essentially I'm going to keep on copying, swap things out. If you forget what the font is called, you just use the what font plugin, just so you guys know, because I do that all the time. I screenshot and be like, what font was that? Okay, see, I thought I liked this. I don't know if I like it with my other stuff, right? It's like, huh, that's interesting. You can also do the whole background remover thing if this like stresses you out and you just want to see black. That's fine too. I'm trying to figure out if I could get away with using both of these because I really like them. Is that too much, guys? Right? This is literally the life of a graphic designer. I move things around on a page until they feel right. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just I keep on iterating and playing around. I'm not opposed to that. And this one's really wild. And I don't like how it looks at all. It feels like squished. I don't like the top of that caffeine at all. So eliminate. Okay, cool. And I'm going to play around for a few more minutes here with fonts. So now there's very clearly all three of these are display fonts, right? And you see how crazy this feels? Like you would never use all three of those. You might be able to get rid of one though and get away with it. Because this is so close to a slab font, it's not overly embellished. I could either use those two. Oop, or those two. And I'm really leaning toward this messy font. I'm trying to think about when I go back to Bromos. A, I like that it's $11. That's awesome. But B, if I come into like some of my actual content ideas, like mocktails and mountains, I want to see, like, I love that, right? It's really cool. Another thing I know I'm going to be working on is paintings. So it's like the studio. Let's see what the studio looks like in that font, because that's probably something I'll be writing. Love. Okay. Now, somebody might not love this font, and I have to be ready to be like, that's cool. I do. Because it's funky, just like a lot of my outfits, right? You got to kind of be ready to be like, yeah, this is why. This one I love, but it doesn't feel like me. I'm like looking at it and it's like, this feels like somebody's diner. I like it, but I would like to go there, but I wouldn't like to for it to be mine. So I'm going to close this one out. Um, Going back to Creative Market, Again, remember when I told you none of these steps should take longer than an hour? It's like part of the power here is just decision. It's like boom, 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 don't overthink it. Let's just rock and roll. I'm gonna search for organic and see what comes up. You can also go back to your word list and ask yourself, is one of my fonts organized, modern, sleek, stylish, and confident? Yes, my Helvetica. Is one of my fonts expressive, lived in, casual, analog, and barefoot? Yes, the other one. So what I'm missing now is a serif font to complete this trio if I were to do the three of, or these two. So I would have, whoops, let's say I would have these two, and then I would have this one. And I'm going to make this black just so that my brain can think for a second, right? That feels really, really good. Those three together. It feels even better probably when I do this, right? And that becomes a pair. And then if the Helvetica font is used with this one, it has to be used in bold to create that contrast. That's fine. And then a serif. I kind of want one with feet. I'm not going to use this serif very often. I'm going to use it when I do print. So, like, what font is my book going to be printed in? Is a question. The most classic, I would say, like, serif font is like Georgia. I don't know if you guys remember Georgia from like your Microsoft Word days, but this is like a typical one. And what I'm going to do is just find a serif font that I like, and then we're good. So it could be a minute, but we'll see me just sorting through. Make this one black as well. And the other thing too is you'll notice because these are like heading fonts and this is like a body font, I usually keep them smaller on the screen because this font is going to be shown at like that size. It's not going to be shown big like this. My serif font is going to be shown the tiniest. I'm going to make it bigger just because you guys are here watching, but I would normally be trying that on pretty tiny. I don't hate that. It feels like a lot with the other two, but just knowing, hey, it's probably never really going to be used on screen. This is more so if I had to print something out. So, mm, this is one of those things. I might come back to it, right? Sometimes you need a second sitting with this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to find a serif font with you guys here right now, but we'll put a placeholder in, worst case. I also have this on -77, so let's get that back to 0. Um, Guys, I'm going to use Times New Roman, I think. Just the OG. I don't love a lot of sans serif fonts. Whoops. They actually kind of bug me. And so it's like, okay, what would happen if I just use the OG, right? Helvetica and Times New Roman. If you don't know what fonts to use, just use these two. They're literally the most basic two. You can't mess them up at all. Look at that. Like there's certain things where it's like, yep, and then you can always italicize. Oh my gosh, done, right? So if you don't know what to use, pick a display font you like and then use Helvetica and Times New Roman, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. Why? My top two fonts are so funky art house that my bottom two fonts just need to be normal. Again, going back to this feels like the answer to me. So we're gonna put these over here. I'll install them later, just for sake of time. Rad, rad, rad. And then I will also update them under my brand in Canva. You can actually pre-select fonts so that you don't have to scroll through the big list of fonts. They're just there. So this is my old display font that's getting replaced with rock and roll. Then my old mono font was called Big Bird. I had Roca 1 in there. I had Helvetica in there. I had Helvetica Now. Another really good font, just like greatest hits, is Open Sans. Can't say enough good things about this one. It looks really, really boring. But Open Sans is a nice, or I'm sorry, Open Sauce. That's what I'm looking for. Open Sauce is a really nice alternative to Helvetica. right? Similar to this. It's got a little bit more personality if you're looking for that. But like, I just like how it looks. So that's one I used for a long time too. But just wanted to give you guys some heads up there. Okay, fonts are done. Boom. Awesome. Love this. Very excited about these two, and I will buy them later. So, next things next. We're going to pull over these colors that I have just been sitting with for a couple days now. And I can't unsee them. And we're going to make the background white so that I can think. Okay. Typically never use white for anything. Always go slightly off white so it doesn't hurt my eyeballs. So we're just going to do that now. I'm going to actually go into a deep gray. So now I can think. Now these things are not hurting my brain. The only color that I'm attached to, like 100% set on using, is this highlighter yellow. I don't know what it is. I've been seeing it everywhere. I can't unsee it. I absolutely love it. It's trending. I might hate it in a year. We out here. Okay. I also had this blue pinned the other day, and then so happened to remember drop from that image a blue that is so similar. So that seems like a good start. This makes me really happy. If I came across this page and this page was blue and green, it would make me really happy, right? When I look at my wardrobe, I also like to think, what colors do I like to wear? What colors bring me peace? What colors feel like me? So I'm gonna actually grab a couple things from my apartment really quick. Um, this is right next to me, my skateboard. Does this look like the same color family or what? Right? So like we're hanging out in the right neighborhood. If I were to color drop from this skateboard that I love and picked out and feels like me, I would actually make this a little bit more electric blue. So I would go a little bit this direction. And that's about the color. So we got some options. I'm going to start with right around 12 colors, and then I'm going to whittle it down and make it simpler as we go. So copy and pasting some shapes here for simplicity. Get this little pink guy. Okay, cool. Awesome. Red, red, red. And these could just as well be circles in Canva. Not super concerned right now. I'm gonna look at some other colors that are in here. There's like a yellowy orange color. If you can find color combinations in real life that you already like, you're not like reinventing the wheel then, that could be super, super helpful. Okay, would never use this color next to this color. So let's take it off, right? We're gonna play process of elimination here on our colors. And then of course, this is the bag I just bought. So you guys, we're on brand, okay? There's things I'm drawn to in real life that are gonna translate to my on-screen. Okay, the other color that I love, and my lanyard is this color that's sitting on the bench over there, is a deep teal. So I'm gonna head over into the teal category, bluish green. I'm gonna drop it down. And what I want to do is have some darks and some lights. So I want to create contrast, right? If I were to have a carousel, these colors could write on one another without vibrating my eyeballs too hard. I'm gonna get this color in the coloring box. I'm gonna get this matcha color going. I'm gonna get my orange in there, my pink in there. Now these can go away. You guys seeing this vision with me? Like, woo, it's a vibe in here. I don't know what vibe, but it's a vibe nonetheless. We'll create like a bone white in there. And I have three more colors I can add. We'll add in a deep, almost black, just for simplicity's sake. And we will add in maybe a butter yellow. Not really sure. Probably not. Okay, that's going away. And you guys, these look like gummy bears to me, kind of. It's like they're just sitting there looking at me. But I think that I'm barking up the right tree. Do these colors to you guys feel like me? Too bright, not grungy enough. I don't know. Things that are definitely staying, we're going to start to create rows. The top row being the keepers are a black, a white, and a highlighter yellow. That is what we started with. These other 7 colors are completely optional, right? So I like, as a guideline, to find 6 colors, and it's going to be usually, not always, sometimes there's 8, Sometimes there's four, right? But just going off of my normal, there's usually two lights, two darks, and two midtones. So light, dark, midtone. We're off to a good start here. As you can see, the only other dark is this one, right? Now, can I come in here and change the color, the hue, but leave the value the same? So value is how dark or light the color is. Hue is, this way. What color is it? So the dark versus the light, the hue versus the hue. So I could also come in here and say like, oh, I'm actually going to use a navy as my other dark, right? I'm going to make this darker. It's not dark enough. We want this to be our dark. So cool there. Coming back. I didn't actually love that teal that I had there. Looks really weird with these other ones. Pop this out. I'm really feeling drawn to this color. And I love those two together. I think they're contrasting and weird. I'm really feeling drawn to this color. Gosh, that could work. That could work, but that doesn't feel right. That could work, but that doesn't feel right. Okay, that could work, but that doesn't feel right. So now I got 5. Now, my other option is to say, what if I had 8 or 9, right? What if I just invited these guys to the party and they were allowed to hang out and they were there? What if? Would we hate that? Wouldn't hate that. Feels very all over the place. Does not feel cohesive to me. This can go. This can go. This feels really good. And again, this is intuitive, right? There's no rule here. I'm looking for some lights, some darks, and some mediums. What would happen if I lightened this guy up a little bit to have another true light? So it was like more of a baby pink. Not liking it. My nails right now are more of a bubblegum color. Again, paying attention to what you like in real life is really, really important here. Hey, how do I get more into a bubblegum pink? I think I go over this way. This is way closer to the color of my nails. I don't hate that, which is weird. This looks like my 9-year-old color palette from my room when I was a kid. Like, what is going on, right? So we've got some wild cards here. I also could go more clementine on this and not be mad about it. But again, it starts to contrast in a really poor way with this color. I don't like these colors on the left together. So again, keeping that. So what do I start to feel most attached to is this. These I'm like the least attached to on the bottom. But they're forming something really good together, right? So it's like, I think this might be my color palette for right now, which is crazy to say. This on the left-hand side, sorry guys, on the left-hand side, you can see my old color palette was really muted. I had like an espresso, a tan. I am not resonating with these whatsoever right now. Can't deal with it. This teal is another color that's like typically been in my coloring box, so to speak. I'm not really ready to part with it, but I also don't know if it needs to stay, right? So interesting. These 3, if I were to rearrange here, these 3 are my podcast colors. These 3 on the right. So that's cool to note, right? I'm going to leave these here. I'm going to leave it at 8. And over time, I'm going to realize which ones are kind of like the weak link or don't need to be there. Johnny, you were asking me about, hey, how do I know when to change it? It's like, well, I don't need 8 colors. I'm going to start with 8. Probably not going to keep 8. I'd be shocked if I did because it feels like too much of a disco party here, right? And it's like, okay, cool. These will naturally refine themselves. So that's one of the first changes that you guys will see. Now, if I was going to be really specific, I would give each of these colors a name and a little hex code. I would just make it up, right? Sake of time, we're going to keep rolling. Textures. Textures that I want to be associated with my brand. A lot of people don't think about this at all. We're going to go to Pinterest. Whoops. And we're going to see what are the textures that are constantly on my radar. I'm going to go to profile. I'm going to go to all pins. I don't know if you guys know this exists, but I just learned that it exists. These are all just pins. And I'm going to zoom out, Command minus, so that I can see what are some of the things that are clearly textured. Well, there's a lot of paint and a lot of checkerboard going on here, fam. So I'm literally just going to screenshot some tiles out of this. I'm going to pop them in here. The texture does not need to be the color, so that's brown and white. Doesn't matter. Nope. Another one is going to be, and we're going to come back over here to the paint section. We'll get some messy paint action in there. That's going to be another color or another texture. Now, if I start doing this and the textures and the colors match, it's going to be even tighter. But right now, I don't need to get that obsessive. Can you guys see this coming together? Because like this makes me deeply happy. I can see it coming together. All right, clearly I have some nails going on. Um, it's interesting because sometimes an outfit will feel on brand. This feels super on brand. So I'm going to copy image. I don't have to download. I can just paste, remove the background. This is becoming like a little mood board over here. Does this not look like the girl that hangs out amongst these colors and amongst these textures? Like she just fits right in, right? So coming over here, actually just allowing yourself. This is like the rich bitch version of me, just so you guys know. That's what I'm going to look like when I start making my dream salary. Still going to be an athleisure, just with really funky sunglasses. Again, look how well she goes with these colors. This is crazy, right? This color and this color are literally in this picture. Your subconscious mind will start to pick up these things. The more you look at what you want, the more you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's my color scheme. Hell yeah, right? What I'm realizing is like this pink might be wrong and um, a dusty, more pastel might be right. That's interesting, right? And this green might be wrong and it might be more like this. I can start to color drop. Like there is a whole other thing being formed there. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right this second, but you can shift over time to, I might do pastels in the spring and neons in the summer. Like you could take all of these and just make them add white. Okay, I'm seeing your chat. Chat is bumping. Do I make all of my IG posts in Canva? Not all of them. We will actually be in just a minute the actual execution plan. So yes, you were ahead of me by a couple steps. Great question. So we will get there. I appreciate you guys hanging out and being here with me while I do this, because this would have been really boring to do by myself. Okay, love this. I want my staircase to look like this. How rad is that? Just so you guys know, Command and the two brackets that are up near the P will adjust the layers. So the right bracket brings it forward, the left bracket brings it back. That's how I'm doing this stuff so fast. I just feel like I need to say that because you guys were saying how much you feel like you struggle with Canva. So Canva shortcuts, we could do a whole class on that. Okay, I want to be muscular. I want my clothes to be more neutral. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. One of my textures, I live in freaking Montana. This is definitely in Banff, but we're gonna pull this over anyways. Wow, y'all. This is really starting to be a vibe over here. Oh, look, here's that teal again. Wonder why that color resonates with me, right? You usually start to have reasons as you look at your vision board and your mood board together. So I'm going to look for a couple more textures. I'm going to look for granular textures, meaning what could I use for a background of a carousel versus like a top image? So like there's a crumpled paper vibe going on here. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna go to paper and we are gonna grab a paper vibe. Okay, y'all, this feels pretty good to me, especially for the amount of time that we were together today. So crumpled paper, a checkerboard, a stripe, a paint. That's enough. Other textures that I've seen do really well with brands, wood or tree bark, or I'm looking at Kirsten right now, wood, tree bark, water, like an abstract water texture. So if you actually go to water texture, it'll be like this is like a fake version of it, but like, you could do like this and you could drop the opacity and put it as your background. Please go position. Come on. Send to back. So like this would be a rad background on a carousel or a slide deck, especially if you take the transparency down almost to nothing, where your brain is almost like, am I imagining that? And then this one, because it's, yeah, like how sick is that if you're doing a slide deck, right? So changing things. Other textures, like I was saying, is like tree bark. You can do the same thing with tree bark. And that one's a little bit blurry. That's might not be the one. This will look better with a deeper brown in the background. Again, I'm just trying to match to the original tone of the picture. Really crazy stuff there, guys. So again, we could go on a whole tangent, but textures are typically used for backgrounds, or sometimes I'll do like this. Take it real skinny and I'll run it across the bottom of something and it's barely peeking through, but man, that adds such a nice little band to a graphic or a carousel or a slide, right? So different little things there. Is this making sense? We got our lookbook. Boom. Colors in the coloring box, fonts in the font box, textures in the texture box. When you go to create, can you see the benefit of having this? You're no longer like, what colors do I use? No, I use these 6 colors or 8 colors all the time. What textures do I use? No, you use the same ones all the time, right? Unsplash.com, I'm not going to gatekeep, is a great place to get royalty-free images. You cannot just take the Pinterest images and then use them for marketing, okay? So let's just say I wanted to do shadows of like a palm leaf. Yep. We're going to go to license free, and I can use any of these as a background as far as like textures go, right? I actually want to add this to my board because that is, when Lissa is in Mexico, this is the vibe all day. So let's just plan for it now. Okay. We got mountains in Mexico. That's the vibe. Okay, rad. That is my personality in a nutshell. So, shadows. Okay, wood. Literally, use these textures, please. Someone else took the photo. Just use it, right? Make sure you're on free of copyright on that. The other site like this, and we're going to go on here in a minute, is called Dupe Photos. They also have an app. These are iPhone shot photos and videos that you can use for marketing free of credit, meaning you do not have to tag the creator. You can use them commercially. How amazing is that? This is a community-driven library. It is completely free, and you contribute a little and you use it a little. So if we do desk, we're going to get a bunch of, you can use these. How amazing is that? Freaking rad. If you use them too much, it's going to be real obvious and it's not going to feel like your stuff anymore. But if you use them sparingly, really good things happen. I love a shot like this on my story with like a to-do list over the top. Nobody knows that that's not your desk. Like they're not going to know, right? Now, if I post this, this is so off brand for me, right? They're going to know. If I posted, let's see. I'm actually going to look for one that I think is super believable that it's like my workstation, right? So I'm going to go through and find something on brand for you guys. If you guys saw this on my story, you would literally think I took that, I believe, especially if I'm traveling, right? If I post this every Tuesday, this overly aesthetic vibe, like this is literally me in Mexico. I have the black laptop. I'm on it right now. I always order a matcha. Pay attention if you are tattooed like I am. Don't post stock photos of you with no tattoos. See what I'm saying? Be observant, right? So I can't use a lot of the hand shots because it's so obvious that it's not my hand. Yeah, super, super helpful. So like Dupe Photos is a newer platform, so they don't have as much. So I keep my searches really simple. Let's just search like dinner. Some of this is so off brand. I would never post a wine glass, right? I don't drink. So it would be really weird if I did. But if I did this, this is so much more on brand. It's not perfect, but it's like we're headed in the right direction, right? So what I like about this is it's real people took these photos. It's not professional photographers. It's just your average Joe. If we do smoothie, let's do smoothie. A lot of really great images that are not like overly edited. Some of them are. There's also videos, y'all. This like works so well when you want to just do one of those like 0.5 second in a reel, but you maybe don't have footage of you stirring your matcha, right? You can sprinkle them in. Again, the less you use them, the more they're helpful. The more you use them, the more they disconnect you from your brand. So use sparingly there. Okay. Document everything. This is something that I want to just talk through with you guys. I am going to be documenting everything because expression is one of my core values and because I want the brand deals. We already talked about why we're doing social, but this is a high level overview of just, again, what was that why from earlier? That's what I want you to put on this page. Pillars and plan. What do I have to say? We are about to get into your voice on the platform. So there's two things. There's your content pillars, which are the bullet points. Let's define pillars really quick. They're the bullet points of the topics that you talk about. So pillars are your topics. Content archetypes or proven strategies are types of posts. They are not your topics. We are going to figure out what you're here to say, what you are here to speak on, what is your lane, and then we are going to figure out the format that it's going to take. Oftentimes when content is taught, it'll be, hey, here's 6 archetypes with themes, and it's too pre what's the word? It's overly curated to someone else's style, like we were talking about earlier. When you're trying to squeeze into someone else's thing, this is why. So we're going to pick 5 pillars. We're picking 5 pillars to start. If you have 6, that is fine. If you have 4, that is fine. The reason that I teach 5 and say, hey, 5 would be ideal is typically I recommend posting 5 days a week as an ideal. If you post 4, that's fine. If you post 7, that's fine, right? It is up to you, your cadence. I am not here to tell you how much to post. I want you to do what you can consistently do. I don't want you to post for 9 days and then not post for 5 days. If you can consistently show up and post every other day, that's excellent. Do you know how many people don't do that? Every other day is rad. Every 48 hours you contribute, hell yeah. Like if you need a simplicity solution, every other day. Post every other day and then show up on your story. Awesome. Like that is a great starting place. That was manageable for me when I was starting. That was manageable for me when I was fully booked out. Every other day. Just every other day, right? It's easy. The more you post, it's like playing the lottery. The more chances you have at visibility, the more chances you have at being an authority, the more chances you have at views, virality, clients, all of it. To an extent, I believe on Instagram, this is Instagram specific now. Some of these platforms like TikTok is a volume game all day, but Instagram specifically, I would rather you post every other day a banger of a post where it's like edited well, it looks good, you feel good, it's aligned, then you eke out a post every day just for the sake of eking out a post every day. You hear what I'm saying, right? So quality over quantity, consistency over vanity, or like the streak mentality. Like I wear my Whoop straps, like, oh, I've had 57 days. Like I have a streak going. It's like, I would rather you take a rest day when you need to take a rest day. Okay. You see this with people in the gym too. They get really into fitness and they're like, no days off. And it's like, no, like I actually would rather you have 4 good workouts a week than 7 shitty workouts a week, right? So the same thing with content. What do I have to say? Oh, I also want to show you guys this little lime green color that I'm obsessed with right now. It's trending. A lot of my favorite creators are using it. So obviously it's on the right track, right? So we're just going to delete that. But those screenshots were there just to show you guys that. So these are my 5 pillars. Let's get the colors right. This isn't even one of our colors anymore, guys. Ah, there we go. Okay. So 2 of my pillars are predefined. I'm going to tell you how I got to them. I'm going to tell you what's included, and then I'm going to ask you some questions, and hopefully you'll get your first 2. So the life is precious is my feminine side. Okay. It's my soft girl side. The rip on life is my masculine side. And there's a reason why there's 3 in the middle here. They're very specifically placed. My left side of my body is my feminine side. My right side is my masculine. Masculine just means it's my doing energy. It's how I am thinking. It is what I am accomplishing in the world. My feminine side is my being side. This has the side with my heart on it. Okay? It is how I am feeling and how I want to make people feel. So, how do I want people to feel is my heart set or my heartbeat of my brand. How do I want people to think or behave is my masculine or my mindset side of the brand. So, feminine, feeling, flow. Masculine, thinking, doing, logic. Feminine, being. How do I want to make people feel is the first thing. Now, did I just say, how do I want to make people feel? And then all of a sudden I was like, life is precious. No, 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 no. That came from a brain dump. And me being like, oh, what's the summary of how I want to make people feel? Oh, I want them to have a reverence for life. Got it. Right? On this side, how do I want people to think and behave? If you could get everybody in the world to just understand one thing, you guys hear the energy I'm in, right? That's your masculine side talking. Like I could just shake them because they don't understand that it's about ripping on life and it's about maxing out and it's about becoming capable and da 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 da. That cadence and that where my voice is coming from, I'm in my masculine. But man, life is precious and it deserves to be captured. And we're so lucky to be here. Do you even hear it in my voice when I talk about these things? Like, that's my feminine side. And like, oh my gosh, like I get full body chills. Another way to think about this is like chills versus like your MO, your mode of operation. Okay, just where are those two things at? I'm gonna chug some beverages while you guys think for a second. When people don't know their heart set and their mindset of their brand, they just sound like robots. They sound like experts. They sound like 3 ways to, 7 simple ways to, life hack. Ba, 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 ba. Why? It's robbed of human emotion. It's robbed of your mindset. Why do you think your content never feels like you? Is you're not inviting your personality to the party. If I get my personality and my outlook and my feelings to sit down first, whatever I talk about after that is now me talking about movement through a lens of life is precious and we're here to rip on it. Such a better piece of content, right? What story are you living? Going back to that. You have to be living and breathing and knowing your core values before you just show up and spit content out all over the place, right? We just sound like everybody else. It's void of feeling. Why does AI content suck? Because AI content left to its own devices, not fed a heart set or a mindset, is just going to be really sterile and flat. But if you tell, you can use AI to your advantage, but if we don't know these pieces, it's never going to sound like you. My mom and I'm really grateful for my mom and the things that she instilled in me as an artist. Shout out to my mom. But she told me a story. I don't know if you guys have stuff like this. When you're a kid, there's certain really profound moments that you just remember. They're like burned into your mind. One of them, we were in the car and she was like, Lissy, everybody's life sings a song. I was like, everybody's life sings a song. She's like, what are the words to my song? And I was like, I looked at her and I was like, you are always silently singing, Do you know how much I love you? And she started to cry. And she was like, man, for my kid to say that that's the song that my life sings, right? We talked about some other people in our life and we were like, what does so and so's life sing? It's like her life sings, Am I good enough yet? She started to cry even more, right? Like for a child to be able to just pinpoint this and have these conversations. But it was a conversation I also remember having. What song does my life sing was a question that I wondered from the time I was like 9 or 10, right? Because we were having these conversations together. My life, I hope, sings a song of awe and a song of go for it. So just some different ways to arrive at these conclusions, right? Brain dumping, talking through what has heart and meaning, what do you believe about the way people operate in the world? Deeply, deeply profound stuff. So those are the hard ones. We started with the difficult ones first. Does this feel difficult when you look at it to put your feelings and your thoughts into words and summarize them and rip on life? Life is precious. Is that hard to get to? No, you guys feel good. Rad. Love you guys. Okay. It is a sifting process. It is something to sit with. It is something to get polished, but you probably know like the general vein that you're going for. Then we have space for 3 topics. If you are really advanced, you might have 4 topics. If you are really basic, you might have 2 topics. And I don't say that, that is not how intelligent you are. That's just how your brain works, is like, does it sort things into fine categories or broad categories? And it's just neither one is right or wrong. So, what I want you to do here, and I'm going to change this to black so we can read, is going to be topic one. And I'll tell you guys like kind of how to get here. But topic one, topic two, and topic three. Okay. Hi. Let's try this again. Here we go. So this, I think, makes it really easy, dude. It's like if I only have to talk about three things on repeat, it's just more approachable for me than trying to like be this crazy multifaceted person. I need to be able to sort things. I will also want to note that lifestyle, so like me traveling or like me loving lad or me like working toward goals like buying a house, that's all going to go inside of Life is Precious. It's like what I'm feeling. What I'm doing, what I'm up to is going to go in Rip on Life. I'm going to make sure that when I say what I'm up to, it's from a place of adventure and sending it and like gratitude, like it's going to be on brand. I'm not going to get on my Instagram and do a Ulta haul like I did on TikTok a couple weeks ago. It doesn't fit the brand. Okay. So there's that. Your three topics, these are going to be called your zones of genius. These are the things that you want to be hired for, known for, thought of. Like when people think of branding, I want them to think of Lissa Scott. When people think of sales, I want them to think of Lissa Scott. When people think of adventure, I want them to think of Lissa Scott, right? What are those things, those topics that you want to be known for? And we're going to get more specific in a second, but these are things that you can Google. These are things that other people have created content about. These are things that you can look up on YouTube and find something. I have had people be like, I want to be known for, and I always use this as a stupid example because you'll hear how bad it sounds. I want to be known as a woodland fairy sex coach. I'm making fun of the like coaching industry here, right? And you're like, what does that mean, bro? Like, oh, you do functional medicine? Yeah, I know what that is. I can Google that, right? So make sure that these are grounded in reality and not things that you are inventing. Originality is not the goal here. Clarity is the goal. Clear over clever. So, one of my things is personal brand. I want to be known for brand, specifically personally. So, you want to be known for health? What kind of health? Holistic health, bodybuilding health, hormonal health, um, gut health. I don't know. See if you can put an adjective on the front. I don't want to be known for corporate branding. I have no desire to build a Nike or an Adidas or a First Form or a even a Flag Nor Fail, right? They're like product driven brands. I want to build personal brands and tell the stories of people and have conversations like this one, right? I don't want to build a healthcare brand. I don't want to build a doctor's office brand. I turned away a logo project for a children's diabetes camp because it wasn't a personal brand. I was like, I don't know how to do this. This isn't my zone. So get specific. Broad topic branding, niche topic personal branding. Niche topic, the brand of online business owners, right? Like we could even go further. We don't want to go so narrow that we lose it. Second topic, I kind of want to be known for sales because I do sales and I like sales and I think it's fun to talk about. But it's like a question mark in my mind is like, is that a whole pillar? Do you guys have a topic like this where you're like, is that a whole pillar worth of what I want to talk about? I don't know. I'm not sure. Question mark it. It's totally fine. Okay. Another thing that I want to be known for is like, and I don't have a word for this, right? So we're going to find one is like style and visuals and like marketing and sales. It's like blurry. These last two are blurry. There's like, I need to sort this out somehow. So, what I'm going to start to do is define what lives under personal brand. Well, personal brand is marketing strategy. So now I don't need to put marketing as one of the other ones. Personal brand is also personal style. It's also the standard I hold myself to. It's also routines. It's how I interact with my life. And it's like talking about purpose and calling. Like, what did God call me to do? That's all personal brand. So I'm going to flesh out personal brand. I'm going to get more specific. Now, marketing strategy does not cover sales strategy. Why do I care about sales? Well, I care. It's really cool to do this with you guys out loud. This is so fun. Sales I actually care about making money. I actually care about lifestyle design. I actually care that you don't waste your life, that you rip on it, which we already covered in the orange one. Sales, making money, lifestyle design, bullshit to business ratio. I'll explain that in a second. This isn't about sales, is it? You guys see where this is going? Like a sales trainer would be like, here's one hook to get your leads to say yes. I don't just want to make sales content. I want to make content about getting people into your offers. That is what I actually care about, not abstract sales tactics. Sometimes that includes sales. Sometimes that includes lead gen strategies, freebie strategies. This is, again, marketing is a little bit here, but this is specifically not just telling stories. So storytelling could also be included up here. Getting people into offers, bringing them into alignment. So yeah, it's sales, but it's a little bit different than just sales. I'm still like kind of like there, not quite there. Again, you guys are seeing me in process right now, right? It's still about making money and being abundant and living a life by design. And maybe this is actually where standard and routines fit in, right? Maybe this is more down here. Okay, cool. Like I'm just sorting thoughts here. This is a great thing to do with sticky notes because you can move the sticky notes into groupings on a table. Like it doesn't always have to be digital. Design. This is actually like messy art. This is styling. Hang on. Design would be things like web design, logos, visual brand. So personal brand is like the story and the way the brand moves. Visual brand is technically what we're talking about here, which is like what form does it take on the screen? So like how to show up online. Okay, this is super interesting, right? Now, what's missing here is my like adventure bucket. Adventure bucket is a little bit up here. I think about like sobriety and like the mocktail thing is definitely in here. Sobriety standards. Okay, so like we're taking standards out. Routines can be up there. You guys see how this is forming like in real time? It's like a tangled ball of yarn. Personal branding, visual branding, marketing strategies covered, design is covered, lifestyle is covered. This last piece that I'm wrestling through is just like, what is sales actually? What about sales do I want to talk about? When I look at myself as a human, she is a coach, an artist and a designer, and a salesperson. Do I have those bases covered? She is a coach. She is an artist and a designer. She is a salesperson. These are my three zones of genius. This is like the three gears I operate in every day. So I'm going to go back to sales, but I'm going to look at sales not as this heavy masculine thing. I'm going to look at heart-centered sales, which is essentially selling with passion, with conviction. So believing in the product that you have, getting people to experience your work is an ethical duty, I believe. I talk about this in my first book a lot. And then like sales as a vehicle to abundance actually starts to overlap with this orange one, but I'm okay with this. So if I were to make this really obvious for myself later, personal brand, sales. Oh my gosh, guys, what did I say earlier? And design. Okay, cool. I have pillars. Look at that. Are they perfect? No. Do I still need to work on that sales bucket? Hell yeah, I do. I don't know why it's there, but I know it's there, right? The whole purpose of sitting down with this initially is just to say, like, high level overview. I talk about branding, sales, and design. That's what my page is about. I mix a little bit of lifestyle in there. I mix a little bit of my mindset, my heart set in there, and I feel like a real human. Do we like this way of pillars? I'm going to look at Kaylee in the chat. You already know I've been debating if I wanted to turn personal into business. This exercise answered it. Pillars I want to share in your business, but I can see I need to maintain a personal profile too. Hopes for brand deals. Yes, exactly. So this is what, if I just talked about brand design and sales, it would feel so professional and stuffy. My personality wouldn't be invited to the party. We want all of them to be there. We are going to take a 5 minute break. I'm going to go pee and go fill up my water because I've had caffeine in a smoothie and no water today. And we are going to reconvene for cadence and archetypes. So now that my topics are down, what form do they take? Okay, we're going to get into that in a second. I'm going to leave this on the screen during our break. If you need an extra minute with your pillars, feel free. This next 30 minutes is going to be us giving form, getting a plan, and we might roll a full other hour. If you guys need to jump off, it's totally cool. I appreciate you being here. Um, but my goal is to finish this today, so I'm going to finish it live. And if you guys want to be here the whole time, awesome. If not, rad. I'll see you in 5. If you guys need to eat or bring food on and have a snack, no judgment. A big old carb girl myself. So I'll see you guys real soon. 5 minute break. I'll see you guys at noon Mountain Time. Rad. All right, y'all, party part two. I just got up and moved my body a little bit and shook it out, and I'm like, sheesh, I am excited for the next part. That was all the boring stuff. All the boring stuff is over. So I hope you guys haven't been bored, but that was the unfun part. The next part is the part where we actually start to have a plan and we move from theory to system to ease, which is where I want you guys. I don't want just want you with a bunch of good theories about content and, all this mental masturbation of like, and my pillars are this, but like, what do I do with all of this? So we're gonna rock and roll here. So the plan. This is the Virgo's favorite part. Like, okay, guys, so what are we actually doing on Tuesday, right? Grounded into reality. What's my cadence? I want you to go back to where we were saying, hey, what's realistic for me? What's my cadence? And I don't care if it's a range. Do something that you can build self-trust doing. If you say 6 times and you post 2 times, you're going to be mad at yourself. But if you say 3 to 6 times, you're going to go, I do exactly what I said I do. So, mine honestly lately has been 3 to 6, and my goal is truly to just hold 4 to 5 consistently. So I'm going to write that down. When we write it down, it's way more likely to happen. You will notice that I have more ideas and more ambition when I go to build my content calendar than I have time. By writing down 4 to 5, it gives me the mental permission to skip one or two. There's going to be a concept right now that sounds like a genius idea, but when I go to execute it, I'm going to be like, I don't want to make that piece of content. Has that ever happened to you guys? Ugh, not the best feeling. What if there was permission to just say, I have 6 ideas and I just have to do 4? Doesn't that feel better already? Like in my body, that literally feels so much better. If I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna write down 6 concepts times 4 weeks in the month. I'm gonna put down 24 concepts. I'm gonna do at least 16 of them. Like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. They don't all have to happen. Let's just call it what it is. So, do we all have a cadence written down? Is it honest? If I just said, is it honest, and you had a question mark in your head, it's not. Okay? Is it honest? I'm gonna say that again. So, okay, 4 to 5 consistently. I believe that the platform, let's talk about the platform for a second. If you haven't already noticed, I don't really do the Instagram dance. Have we talked about trends or virality or like the algorithm at all this whole time? Barely. It's not where I operate from. Instagram is not my God. I do not bow to it. I show up authentically. I post what I want. That's a lot more my energy, right? If I get paranoid about the algorithm and like, we are not going to talk about like best times to post. Like, ugh, we are not going to talk about a trial reel strategy. I don't have time for this at all. Anybody else not have time for that bullshit? Like, yeah, if I really wanted to go viral and I really wanted to hack this, could I? Yeah. But what else could I do with those hours, precious hours of my life, dude? Like, no. Post when it's light out. Post when you're excited. Post when you're inspired. Post when you're not. Cool? Like, that's the rules. Is it light outside? Am I stoked about this piece of content? Or am I just exercising consistency today? You do the workout whether you're motivated or not, right? It's not motivation is a fleeting thing. Consistency is a self-trust, brand trust thing. So sometimes we are genuinely excited and inspired. Sometimes we are not, and we show up anyway. We honor our cadence. Our cadence is a self-promise. When we break the self-promise, we lose self-trust. When we lose self-trust, we feel like an imposter. Do you guys see the downward spiral, right? I'd rather you write down, I'm going to post 2 or 3 times a week consistently. And if your personality is going to be like, hell yeah, everything after 3 times is bonus, and that's going to raise your consciousness, raise your self-confidence, do it. Okay. However, you need to wire this for your brain. Know yourself. Okay. Post archetypes. I want you to pretend these are sticky notes. Okay. If you guys have sticky notes, I would recommend keeping them handy this week. So, these are, when I say post archetypes, hang on, how do I want to explain this? You ever like look at a dude in the gym and you know exactly who he is, even though you don't know his name or anything about him? Like that guy works in IT. He has had the same socks for 8 years, and he's wearing basketball shorts from 2005, and he hasn't gotten a kiss from a girl in a very long time. There's that archetype. There's that guy's on steroids and he wouldn't mind if one of his nipples fell out of his stringer tee or tank, right? Like you just know, right? And so like what I want you guys to be able to do is start to look at content and go, "Oh, that's a this is a that, that's a this is a that." Just because the content type exists doesn't mean you have to date that type. Doesn't mean you have to use that type. So, these are the things we're going to go through a bunch of posts and I'm going to start like calling them Brad and Chad and Anthony, right? I'm going to start giving them names. You don't have to use every one. You don't have to write down every single one. The IT guy might not be your type. The steroid bro might not be your type. Totally cool. What I want you to pay attention to is if I were to make this type of content, would it feel authentic to me? Because content that you're not excited about or content you don't like, can we go on a rant here for a second? If you don't like the strategy, are you going to do it long term? Not a chance. This is why you don't follow your business coach's advice on what to post. You're like, I hate this type of content. I don't want to do it. That resistance compounds over time and impacts directly your consistency. You are literally trying to squeeze yourself into a box you were never meant to fit in. But most people don't want to take the 3.5 hours and do this part. So they just say, follow my 3-step content strategy and it'll work because it worked for me. No, it won't work for me, Susan, because it's not authentic to me. And then I'm going to be compounded under frustration and resent and wondering if I'm even supposed to do this thing because I can't get it to work for me. Like, this is so real, you guys. Is like, please stop squeezing into somebody else's box and write your own damn playbook. You have to sit for the 3.5 hours and understand the rules so you can break them. You have to know yourself well enough to be able to say, yes, that's authentic to me, or no, it's not. And that's a lot of times stuff that people have no patience for because they just want money tomorrow. And I hate to say it, but that's what it is money hungry. Give me the quick fix. Just tell me what I'll do and I'll do it. You say jump, I'll say how high until I burn out or until I don't like it or until I don't recognize myself or until I question everything. How's that for a fucking rant today, guys? Like, woof, I get so angry at these coaches who don't ask questions. So it is literally like, yes, it's like fitness. Drop sets suck, but they make you grow. And you love heavy reps or heavy weights, low reps and power. Okay, cool. So like you would rather do a powerlifting style deadlift than a bodybuilding style RDL, correct? Theoretically, right? And if you guys aren't in fitness and you're listening to this recording, so sorry. We're all just a bunch of gym girlies that got into content over here. So don't worry about the analogies if they're not hitting. But it's like, okay, I'm a CrossFitter and my body has been asking me to do a much different style of workout the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm losing my marbles, y'all, because all I want to do is functional fitness and like Marcus Philly style workouts. And like, I want variety and I want novelty. My novelty threshold's really high. Anybody else here have a high novelty threshold? And if you don't know what that means, it means you like new stuff all the time. You need variety. Variety is a spice of life, right? And you get bored easily. And people might even think that you're flaky, but if you know this about yourself, you can just engineer variety to happen and you can thrive a lot better. And I'm someone like that. So some of the ways that I do that with content, I switch it up often. Quarterly, I'll go through this for like an hour and just tweak it, right? Annually, I'll sit down for 3.5 hours and I'll be like, gotta figure this out. Why? Because I'm about to quit because I feel boxed in. I'm not about to quit because I'm afraid of hard work. None of you in this room are afraid of hard work. I know you all so well at this point. Like, that's not the issue. It's how do I work, not will I work. So let's ask the real question. The kid that changed your room every weekend, Kaylee, that's such a good analogy in the chat. And Johnny, there's things that I am not, but I do have some change else. I can't do this. I do have to have some change. Oh, you need variety some places and you need novelty some places. Correct. Yes. Day planner helps when you're actually living your life and not going through a situation, Ash. Yes, absolutely. There's going to be seasons where you deviate from the plan. Let them be seasons though. Let's not make them a lifestyle, right? It's like you might have, I'm going to use a terrible example. If I had a content system like this the month that my dad died, the whole thing would get thrown out the window. Okay. Permission to be a real human. But permission to also be a strategic human who thrives in chaos. I think all of us here have that in common as well. You need a certain level of chaos to actually function. True or false? Yeah, that goes back to the novelty thing, right? If things are too boring, you check out, you're not growing. So, post archetypes. I'm going to open up my saved folder on IG and screen share. I hope that all the audio doesn't start playing. If it does, I'll figure that out. But some of the things that I have jotted down on my sticky notes are I'm noticing that when I post and when other people post thoughtful carousels, I really like it. A well thought out carousel is a format I like that feels authentic to me. So that's on my board. Visual lists, getting more specific. This is also going to be a carousel. So I have underlined the carousels and I have not underlined what I plan on doing mostly reels for. That's just a me thing. Honestly, I could do a thoughtful reel, yes, and I could do a visual list as a reel also, but I'm less likely to. So just in my mind, I'm kind of planning here. I want to start doing faceless mocktail videos, and I want to start doing a series called Mocktails and Mountains. This is the first idea is I throw my 2-ingredient mocktail in my ski bag and I get to the top of my favorite run and I mic up and I'm like, hey guys, we're going to make a mocktail in nature today. Like, would you watch that reel? Because I would, right? And if I was a brand, a non-alcoholic brand, I would be like, yeah, this chick fucks. Like, hell yeah. Like, and so I'm also trying to say, what type of content do I want in my portfolio? So, mocktails. Okay, that's going to be one of my archetypes. I doubt that's going to be on your guys' archetype unless we're really vibing on the same wavelength here. But it might be, Kirsten, 30-minute dinners might be one of your archetypes. And that's like super on brand for you. Or Joe, like I would love to see a pre and post ride fuel, right? Like just make it unique to you. Johnny, I would love to see a carousel that's like meals I have on repeat. I always want to know what are my friends doing. I'm nosy, right? We're all nosy. So those are like some archetypes there. We're going to go over, like I said, to Instagram. Guys, I'm such a yapper. Sorry, that was 13 minutes. Good God. Saved. I use my saved folder a lot. I also have folders within folders. I recommend doing this. They're not always organized, but at least it helps with the overwhelm. We're going to go into the absolute zoo that is my all saved folder. Hello, bye-bye. You guys are going to really understand my brain in a minute. You're going to be like, oh, that's what you like. I get it. So this feels like a personality test. Okay, we're going to go through and I'm just going to archetype posts out loud here for a second. And then we'll go back to the actual planning exercise. Okay, this is Lacey Dilworth. She's cool. She used to sell Arbonne. Dressing like a boy, knowing good and well I got a thong on is very funny. That is a very sassy thing to say that could fall under personal style. So sass with outfit. That's the archetype. That's it. Other people going on vacation. Should we all go hiking? Me. And this audio is really silly. It's her like snorkeling around with a drink, right? What is this archetypally? Personality piece, goofy audio. That's all it is. Okay. This one is what I would call a thoughtful reel. We've got like this little PNG that she made. She took the background out. If you guys want to do this, you write your text out in Canva, you save it with a transparent background. You save, click the transparent background checkbox, and you can layer it as an overlay on your reel. Cool. So overlay, thoughtful reel. That's all this is. We don't even need to know what it says. And all this is, she's doing something that you guys do every day, which is make a beverage or a drink in the kitchen. Or you could be eating cereal. I don't care, right? Post, clip 2 or 3 things. Boom. That's it. No theatrics happening here. Very normal. Okay, God forbid your local real estate agent hopped up out the bed and turned his swag on. The audio is that Soldier Boy, turn my swag on, right? It's highly dependent on the audio. However, I love this for my personal style bucket. All it is a little, we'll call it a runway walk with punchy quote. Okay, again, sassy fit check, going back to that Lacey reel. All right, something I noticed in my 40s is that your high school classmates either look 30 or 60. I'm noticing that in my 30s. Yep, okay. So this is a reel with a very punchy, polarizing quote. If I was in fitness, I would be making this yesterday because it's one of the benefits to fitness is that you look good longer, right? Just one of the benefits. But I would say something like, I know which one I am, like cheeky, right? I love sass. What I'm noticing as I go through my stuff is I am just like addicted to the sass reels. That's what makes me stop my scroll. Here's another one. Forever calling other people's opinions of me fan theories. This goes back to that personality share. The girl in the water saying she was like not wanting to go on the hike, and this one, very similar content. I also think that this chick may be pregnant, which is even funnier, which I love. Okay, completely different category now. This is what we call a visual list. When I wrote visual list, this is what I was talking about. Okay, like collage style Canva visual list. That's one format for it. Okay, polarizing political topic goes here. It's illegal to feed wildlife in national parks because they become dependent on food made easy and lose the skills needed to survive. Sound familiar? That is going to trigger some people. At this point, those people aren't really on my page anymore. I kind of like got rid of them all because I do this type of content fairly often. But this is the if you needed a reason to unfollow me, here's my opinion type content. So this can take the form of like rants. If you're good face to camera, give me a good rant. I really can only rant on podcasts and in conversations. I'm terrible face to camera ranter, just not my thing. My friend Shannon, great face to camera ranter. Like that's her whole content strategy is just rants. If you are on TikTok, TikTok loves to bitch, just rant. You'll do great, I promise. And edit out the silences and make it like a choppy, high speed edit. You'll be great. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, something like this is going to perform better where you just like throw out a theory and then just ask a question. But these are like highly polarizing pieces of content. Figuring out how you guys have heard like polarizing your content, right? But how do you polarize the best? Are you like a written word person? Are you a ranter? Are you like a social justice warrior where you're like really telling a story? Like, I don't know. I did that reel or carousel the other day that was like, spoiler alert, they pushed feminism so hard so that they could tax both parents and raise your kids themselves. That's an opinion, right? I'm just calling it how I see it. I really, really, really enjoyed doing that in carousel format. So I might call that a carousel rant or a carousel polarize, whatever is going to make sense in my brain. Okay, meme dump. You guys have seen meme dumps all over the internet, right? Do you want to do them? Is that something you would do? I don't know. Maybe. I kind of want to test that this month and see if I like making them and see if they get shared. It's a really good way to get traffic. This is more like a vision board thing. I'm not going to necessarily create content about architecture. We can skip that. Storytelling carousel list. I'm like making names up, right? Advice I'd give to women in their 20s if I wasn't afraid to hurt your feelings. We'll put this in the visual list category. She's giving me a visual, she's making me a list, right? So 1, move out of your hometown. 2, do the complete opposite of what people are doing. 3, be an absolute star at whatever you're doing right now. I actually read this whole carousel. It's not easy to read. She didn't make it easy on me. Like, this is not necessarily super legible. I still read the entire thing and agreed with the entire thing. And this is a good amount of content, right? Shelby Sapp is an awesome sales girl. Really, really like her content. She's got a completely different brand. She's high-end luxury boss babe, but like I really dig her and respect her. So we'll call that a visual list. Ha ha, I can lift more than you. Have you guys seen this reel yet? It's like, yeah, Brad, I would hope so. You weigh twice as much as me. And it's like she does the percentages on like I hip thrust 300% of my body weight and I bicep curl 30%. It's like, yeah, no. This is all relative strength, right? This is actual like a better measure. And so like I really like this. I like this even as a woman who's not necessarily preaching fitness. I preach like holding yourself to a standard. So like I could still make this reel beyond brand. My take in the caption would be something like about being underestimated or about how you measure things. It wouldn't be about like progressive overload. Does that make sense? You can put things through a different lens. Another visual list. Romanticize work meetings by blank. Romanticize grocery shopping by blank. Romanticize solo dinners by blank. and it's just repeating the same hook over and over again. This would fit right into my Rip on Life pillar if I did something like this. Whenever you guys are ripping off a piece of people's content, make sure you like really make it your own. Don't copy and paste what they wrote. I think that goes without saying, but I feel better telling you guys that as we go through this. All right, this is super cool. This goes back to my visual and what I want to look like. Gritty, film photo, funny crop, weird angle, normalize the phase where nothing fits but going back feels impossible in Helvetica. It's already in my font. I love this. Do you see how she did this with the text? This is something I'm going to be emulating a lot. It feels like a piece of art. It feels like editorial, like a magazine, right? Just saving that in a folder. So I'm actually going to create a new collection, and we're going to call this editorial carousel. It is very stylized text, and this is thoughtful. This is going to take me a minute. This isn't going to be my fast piece of content every week, right? So that's going to be one of them. Meme dump. Things that shouldn't have surprised me when starting my restroom business. This is a storytelling piece. I am really not good at creating content like this. It's really exhausting to me to find these clips and like have a bunch of text on the screen. I like this. I'm not going to create content like this, right? It's just not going to happen. Welcome to my office culture. I'm a lot more likely to create something like this. One line of text, a few clips from the same day. I didn't have to go through my camera roll and like source all of that. I can just film this, right? Says so much without saying anything, dude. Her office culture is fully intact here. I love this. Personal brand, like how would I use this? It'd be like my personal style in one outfit. Easy, right? Keep it simple. Make it like if I had to make this real today, I'd be stoked to do it. I wouldn't be dreading it. Okay, there's some that I saved for different reasons. Homemade recipe. I love stuff like this. I'm not going to be a creator like this, but I really enjoy it. Paying attention to what you're consuming. Why are you consuming it? Sometimes it's pretty, sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's helpful, right? And then it's trying to show up like that. This is a great way to story tell. So do you guys remember the portable restroom business? She did it in a reel. This person did it in a carousel. I am way more likely to do it in a carousel. I can wrap my head around this, like fully. And this kind of looks like Not Summer, her content, with like the gritty black and white, right? There's like an aesthetic happening here. What this is telling me is I need a bank of images if I'm going to make carousels like this. My raw materials need to be dialed. So that's going to be a thing. We're going to call this, we're going to go back over to here. We're going to call this before and afters. So sometimes it's a storytelling. It's not before and after, like a fitness before and after. I want to start to show like my style before and after, my room before and after, my art before and after, my business story before and after. So it's like a storytelling version of this. Thoughtful carousels, we are replacing that with editorial carousels so that I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Is this making sense, guys, with how these sticky notes are forming? I'm just literally looking at stuff and like, oh, what did they do? What did they do? We're going to scroll back a bit more. Visual diagrams. I dig them. I don't always have an idea for one every week, but I could probably do 2 a month where I show a visual of some kind. We probably like Pilates and matcha, right? Actually, we like this. I love stuff like this. Can I get footage like this being somebody that's hanging out with Lad right now? Very easily, right? So adventure type content. Again, storytelling carousel. Awesome. Results driven. If you were bullied in grade school, what do you look like first now? I'll go first. This was a really funny reel or carousel. And she's like jacked and beautiful, of course, right? It's like awesome, glow up. I'm going to start going very quickly and figure out some other ones. Some of these I just save because I like them, right? It's like not necessarily inspo. Okay, I love stuff like this where your energy is on the reel, like you're dancing or kind of like flirting with the camera a little bit, right? And this would be like a sales piece of content. I ain't afraid to double text you. I make cold calls all day, Mia Moore. Gonna put you in my CRM and follow up every 24 hours. It's that sass. So I gotta have sass infused into some of these, clearly. Um, this is that editorial text look that I'm talking about. See how stylized that first slide is? Now, I'm disappointed. I'm going to be very critical here. I'm disappointed when I go here and this isn't stylized and now it looks like it's TikTok text. I'm sad. Keep going. Your first slide was so good. Keep going, right? Like, where's this font? Where did it go? Why did it go away? This group coaching should be in this title font, if I'm being honest, right? And this is me being really picky, but I'm just trying to show you guys some of the things that I see. That title font never came back, not even at the end. There was a total missed opportunity to make a whole slide that said the only thing stopping you from getting where you want to go is fear of failure in that same font. Do you think that would get shared to people's story? Yeah, right? You're constantly making things that can be shared. So she may have done that for 5 minutes in her car. I don't know. No judgment, right? But it's like thinking about things strategically. This is the equivalent of a mocktail reel, but with hair. Not saying anything, just showing everything, right? I love it. I love the simplicity. Here's that. Remember earlier I was like, people are starting to make it feel like a collage or a magazine. Mixed media. Marker font, cutouts, layering, blurry image. This is super trending right now, is like mixed media style stuff. And this is just messing around in Canva. I can show you guys a little bit of that. One of the things I used to toy around with was offering like, this is a perfect example of a mocktail reel. It used to toy around with Canva art lessons. It's like, what if we just like did Canva art lessons? Wouldn't that be fun? Like every week you learn how to do something new in Canva that you didn't know how to do before. I think that that's like how people learn best. So anyway, these are the types of reels I want to start making with mocktails. I think that this is genius. I save these all the time, all the time. Like I think they're so aesthetic and fun. This is also like a meme dump, even though it's not memes, it's just a collection of quotes. Storytelling face to cam, quotes. Okay, Julia Broom. We need to talk about Julia Broom. Julia Broom's whole thing is make a signature series, get people to basically binge you like a Netflix show. Okay. What she did with her feed, beautiful. Some of them are selfies with text. Some of them are lifestyle images. This is elite stuff. I'm not saying my thing needs to go this hard in the paint, but let's take a look at a reel visually. What's happening? Oh, this is the carousel. You guys will see her aesthetic is heavy on screenshots out of her Notes app. Great way to do content on the go if you're constantly on the go. This is the contrasting editorial text where we have the two fonts. It looks like something straight out of a magazine, very editorial, very polished. This is what one of our reels looks like. All of this overlay work, bro, I wouldn't even know where to begin editing like this. Does anybody else feel like that when they're watching this? Like, now, could I figure it out? Yes. Would I be able to do it every 3 days? No. The bandwidth it takes, the eliteness it takes to make this much content is the sign of a true master. I am floored by her ability to edit. I aspire to this. What I can do right now is start to take one or two things she's doing and incorporate it into my reels. Sound effects, emojis, a screen share here or there. I don't need to do all of it at once, right? So pushing yourself just 10% outside of your normal edit, I could put a screenshot on. Why not? That I can wrap my head around that. I could even do a screen share and a couple emojis like that. That's enough for me right now. I do not need to go this crazy. She does this consistently. This is also a multi-million-dollar brand that she's running. I guarantee it. She owns a content school, hence her being a product of the product. She owns a content planner, screen shared here. And she owns a community called Workhorse, which is like a job listing platform. This makes perfect sense for her. She is exactly who she claimed to be. I know nothing about her personal life. I know nothing about her hobbies. I know nothing about her and her boyfriend. That bums me out. So I only want to emulate a little bit of this, right? It's like you can, again, analyze people and say, I like this, I don't like that. Heavy on the screen share. I think that there's room for me to grow as an authority and brand by adding a little bit of content like this. So what we're going to call this archetype of content, this is going to be a reel, is going to be highly polished brand education. It's going to be a heavy lift. Then we had, remember my sassy quote, B-roll personality? Sassy personality, B-roll reels. These are a super light lift, so they kind of cancel out, right? Now, something that is clearly apparent to me when I look at these, I need some visuals. I need a spot to sit for those face to camera like Julia was doing. I need a bank of images. Like it's starting to come together what ingredients I need to do this. Does that make sense? So like if you love Dana Lynn Bailey's like gym style reels, you're gonna have to block off time to film in the gym once in a while. You can't have a reel like that without the raw material. So coming back in, we are going to take a couple of, I'm gonna scroll and look for some very specific posts now, and we're gonna take a few more content examples, and then we will actually move into shot list and planning. So Rachel Bell, this is her carousel style. It's always very consistent. I also want to be very consistent with my carousels and create some templates. I love this. This is also Rachel. It feels like a photocopy. I think it's really cool. Love the messy paper look. Love the black and white. It takes a special person to read all of that though, right? It's like black and white. It's not visually captivating. I'm going to be careful how much I do that. This is my friend Shannon. She emulates Julia a lot. I admire this type of video though. This is like one of my best friends. She's like, yeah, this took me 4 hours. Like, please be aware that this isn't just like content you just crank out between sets of the gym. Like, this is crazy how much it takes, right? So great piece of content. Went decently viral. 1,000 likes is really good. I think she has about 12K followers, so really good there. Johnny, idea for you. Time lapse that grocery haul. I want to know what you're eating, you jacked woman, you. Kirsten, same thing. Joe, same thing. You guys can do this. How cool is this? Just stop motion. I love this. So, like, what if you did a grocery haul like that every other week, twice a month? Can you guys wrap your head around that? Rad. Love. Homemade protein bars. Kirsten, this is right up your alley. I know you don't love protein powder, but like still, it's pretty cool. Like, again, faceless recipe. All right. Just a couple more I want to show you guys. I've been like all week saving stuff. This is now like from early January, but all week saving stuff, knowing we were going to do this. And I was like so excited. And my brain is just like, there's so much. Like we could just keep going. This is not going to perform nearly as well as something with images in it. Like it feels so sterile, right? She's also running an agency. So she's, again, taking into account your audience and your brand. This is that split screen, the duo, the buy share cinematic. I don't even know how she has so many good images. Clearly shot with a professional photographer, and clearly grabbing some stock images and mixing them in. Do you guys see how when they're mixed in, they don't feel so gross? Yeah. Okay. There's that collage look again. This is going to be a faceless food video. Already know it. Clearly, I like videos like this. It's so many of my saved posts are just like that. All right, insert personality with sassy quote here. Awesome. Love this. This says so much. Look at that. Who are these people? My friend Justin in the purple shirt. Like he's just a nut. It's like that's who I want to hang out with. I want to have a lifestyle brand, right? We'll do like two more, guys. Here's another visual list. These are crushing right now. This is highly likely to get shared and saved if you really speak to your niche on these. This is so rad. People love this kind of stuff. It reminds me of like the I Spy books when we were kids. I don't know why, but it just does. All right, one more post. This is straight up art. This girl, Post Wook, she's out of Arizona. She's amazing. She does collage surrealism, and every one of her carousels is like this. Could you imagine if this was like, I'm going to make content and you just had to sit down and straight up make art at volume? I can't even imagine. Amazing. Floored. So things that grabbed our interest, they're visually captivating, they're repetitive, they have archetypes. What I want you to do is have 4 to 8 styles of posts that you make that feel good to you. What you'll notice is like there's pretty much none of is like TikTok style content is not super big in my saved folder at all. It's just like not what I gravitate towards. Graduate towards. I can't even talk, guys. We're so far into this thing. So this is what I mean by TikTok style content, where it's just a quote and footage every single reel. If you do this like twice a week, I think it's great. If you do this 7 days a week, you're gonna look like everybody else. I'm just throwing that out there. It might be good to build up some consistency and it might get saved and it might go viral. This cannot be the whole content strategy. This is what we're getting away from, right? So this is what we call lazy content, really easy to make. You can crank out 2 of them a week. Awesome, easy, boom. Can't be the whole strategy. So that's like one thing that it used to be the whole strategy. Remember when reels were just like lip syncing to an audio face to camera with like text on it? This is kind of like the new version of that. And it's like, it's on the way out. Use it, but use it sparingly. Okay, we have looked at archetypes. We're going to come back. We're going to finish my archetypes. So, okay. I want adventure content, montage content. I got this camera and it's like an old school video camera, but it's new, okay? And I want to do stuff that's like, I don't know, like camcorder vibes. Like it doesn't have a ton of text. It might have a voiceover. It's very like, this is my version of come with me too. Instead of me talking to the camera and be like, come with me to go skiing. It's like, I just want it to be this artsy piece of us skiing for the day, right? Totally cool with like a thoughtful caption. So there's that. And then I need one more type of carousel. I like to have 8 just because I get bored easily. Again, if you're more simplistic, do 4, do 5, do 7. I don't care. Mocktails, highly polished brand education, sassy personality B-rolls, come with me content, editorial carousels, visual lists, before and after. I already know I'm going to struggle with this. So I'm also going to put not summer style studio shots as like an either or. I'm not going to have a before or after to share every week. I don't do that much work, right? It's like, okay, what else could go in that same bucket? I'm going to go back to my pillars and I'm going to look at these and go, what's my last one? Probably storytelling face to camera. I don't want to do it. I have high resistance to this. I don't like this, right? This is what I'm thinking. Am I going to do something I don't like? For 1/8 of the time, I think it might be a really good growth piece for me. I have a stomach ache right now. I'm talking about this. Like, oh, I don't like it though. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, what's my other type of reel? Let's go to my page and let's see what has done well. That's not already in a content, in a bucket. I'm trying to think. It's like the lazy content I was talking about. Love that once or twice a week. Visual list. Punchy quote. This one, I guess this is me storytelling, huh? This one was fun. I loved this one. It didn't do that great, but it also didn't do bad. Okay, what do we want to call that one? I don't know. Let's keep going here. This is what I mean by the photo dumps would fit into, sorry, into this style as well. So if it was a carousel, it would be a photo dump. It's like a February so far usually crushes. Okay. That could also be considered a visual list. Cinematic. I think I want to do more content where it's split screen. I think that'd be cool. But again, look, this one did decently well too, and I think it builds a lot of trust when I do this. So I'm gonna call this last one that I don't want to do, but I'm gonna do it anyway and see how it does, is called story time. Okay, it's not a rant necessarily, but it's like, hey, this is gonna build a ton of trust. I also, as a backup, am down to do a read my writing voiceover. Okay, this is going to be vulnerable, but hey, if I don't want to talk face to camera, at least talk, right? At least get the voice on there. So these are going to be my post archetypes. Now, ingredients. I'm going to duplicate this whole slide. Mocktails, footage of mocktail. So faceless kitchen or slope side mocktail. Editorial carousels. I need a bank of images. I need I need a face to camera like set. You guys know what I mean when I say like a set, like we're on set, right? Like where am I sitting and what's the lighting situation when I'm talking face to camera? Visual lists. I need dupe photos and lifestyle images. Okay, sassy personality B-rolls. I need lad to video me doing stupid shit regularly. Okay, so that's a conversation I'm gonna have with him. Hey, if you see me doing something that's like very Lissa, can you just like grab a clip? I don't care if it's low quality, whatever. I need to have more dance parties on my story. That also probably means that I love to dance. I also need to tell my sisters to send all their blackmail. They definitely have stupid videos of me doing really dumb stuff from a while ago that is still usable. Before and after, I need to be working on art, not studio shots. I need to be taking B-roll in studio. Okay, adventure content. I need to use camera often during real life non-work. Okay, because that's does all this chick do is work? Well, no. So what does this one actually mean is like, how do I say this? Pack the dang camera. You'll be glad you did. And also it makes it a tax write-off. Just so you guys know, if you're shooting content on a trip, it's now a content trip. You can partially write that off. That was not tax advice. Story time, reading my writing. So I need to have stories, record stories, write poetry / my book, read poetry / my book. Huh. Is this starting to become a to-do list or what? Is this like the opposite of a hot mess express when it comes to content planning? Is like, I now know what I actually need. That's crazy. I'm going to start collecting these elements in my everyday life. Bank of images, when am I building that? Dupe photos, when am I saving some stuff? Face to camera, where am I sitting? Mocktail stuff. I'm going to have some really bad mocktail reels on the way here, right? There's different stuff that I need to now go capture. So I'm going to make a shot list and a batching plan. So we need content ideas for each type. So in my mocktails section, I'm going to do 2 of these a month, let's just say. Editorial carousels, I don't know how many. We're going to do 2 of these a month. So that's already 4 posts. Sassy personalities, kind of unlimited. Before and after, we'll do 2 of those a month. And we'll do 2 of these a month. And we'll do a lot of those. And we'll do 2 of those. So starting with my 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 of my 24, remember I said I was going to post 24 times a month max? 10 of my 24 are going to be accounted for, which means I have 14 left. 14, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so we'll do 3 of these. Again, this is just me saying how many of each type to hit my quota. 3. This one's really easy to hit, so we'll do 5. And then what's my remainder? Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19. So we'll do probably 3 of these. All right, realistically, I'm not going to post 24 times a month. I'm probably going to post 21. That's what this means. Okay. The next piece of this, did that make sense, guys? I just put how many of each kind. Next piece of this is to actually go in, say mocktail 1, mocktail 2. Okay, well, this one's going to be ski slope, 2 ingredients, like I mentioned. And this one is going to be, gosh, I will do a no keto. Okay, it's a No alcohol mojito. That's an easy one I know how to do. Editorial carousels. One, two, three. I'm gonna need topics for each of these. If I have an idea when I'm sitting down to plan, that's fine. If I don't, that's fine. I'm gonna leave it blank. So if I were to make an editorial carousel, it would be, let's see, I want to make one about intimacy. I've been writing about it in my book. I want to make one about the odds of you being here. Again, I've been writing about this in my book. And I want to make one about, let's see, it's going to be March. Um, Events and in-person work. Nope, that doesn't feel so great. I'm going to go back to my pillars. Odds of you being here. And what else did I say? Intimacy, those are both this pillar. So what would a different pillar be represented as an editorial carousel? Well, I'm gonna do an editorial carousel on sales. Okay. Sales and why I sell, how I sell. I just took a different pillar and applied it. Then highly polished educational brand content. Okay, one, two. This is gonna be messy. Good God. Okay. What's the first highly polished educational brand content I want to post? Maybe it's post archetypes. Maybe I take people through this process, right? And my other one might be, okay, so I'm going to go back to my pillars. I'm going to say within personal brand, what could I make a carousel on? Why your content feels like it has no soul. And we're going to talk about heart set mindset inspired by today. Cool? Awesome. Then sassy personality style reels. One, two, three, four, five. I don't know. I'm just going to make it a point to capture those as the month goes on. You can't really force those or shot list those. Some of that is just in real time. The one that I do know that I want to do is how like the dress like a boy thing. Dressed like a boy, blank. It's like I dress like a boy even though I have muscles, or like that one that Lacey did where it's like knowing dang well I have a thong on right now. It's funny, right? So like one of them will be outfit driven. The other ones I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll make sure that I'm silly and I'll make sure I film it. My visual lists, one, two, three. I don't know. I'm gonna come back to that. My adventure content, one, two, three. Okay, we're gonna do a photo dump at end of March. That's an easy, like, this is how March was. We're gonna do I just got an idea for this one. We're gonna do a studio before and after. We're gonna do a come by blank canvas with me. We're gonna do studio update 1 and then studio update 2. So this will be me painting and saying something, right? It's like the setting is defined, the topic is not ahead of time. That's okay. I don't know what these are going to be. Let's see, what am I doing? End of March, we're going to work a lot. I'm going to run. I'm going to, let's see. A lot of this is like looking at the calendar, being like, what's on the docket? Okay, let's do this. Best drinks I had in March. And it's going to be like a swipe of like a chai from this coffee shop and a mocktail in my own kitchen. And because I'm a beverage girly, it's one of my things. Coming back over to here, when I think about adventure, thinking, doing, logic, how do I want people to behave? And I think of this honestly could be a really punchy quote. So we're going to do a polarizing piece about life on your terms here. That's probably going to be a B-roll style reel, meaning text on a reel. Story time. Okay, we're going to do one story time and one reading my book with footage. Okay, I don't know what the story is going to be. You can't predict what story you're going to have, but we'll just say insert rant here, right? I'm sure I'll need to rant about something before the month is over. It's okay to have a loose outline. Okay, so now I need 3 visual lists and 4 personality pieces. If I had more time with you guys, I would be going through this saved folder and I would be actually putting down like the words for each of these. Right now, I'm not going to. It's okay. And then your bi-weekly ritual. If I have the bank of things that I need, I'm just assembling them bi-weekly. So, what I'm going to do is make a content calendar out of this. And so, I'm going to delete these boxes. I have a content calendar that I use, but I want to keep this really simple for us. So, I'm actually just going to show it to you guys because it's going to be the fastest. MP Content Hub, Content Party. I might already have stuff on the calendar, but that's okay. We are going to just rock and roll. You guys can ignore what's here. I'm going to apply what we created. So this will be the dates that things are getting published. So I'm going to do the mocktail here. So this is all going to get applied to a calendar, right? And then my shot list is literally going to be like, what shots do I need to get? It's like, okay, ski lift shot. I need pouring shot. I need mixing shot. I need talking to camera, voiceover to complete this piece. And I can go through and make a massive shot list for everything I need and then go batch it. Or I can just say, hey, I need to make that reel on Saturday, whichever. No Hito will happen 2 weeks later. We'll come here. I'm actually already know I'm not going to be able to film this day, so I'm going to move it to here. Okay, post archetypes, face to cam. So I'm gonna stop after like 2 more of these, but this is gonna be, and I'm happy to share you guys this template so you can actually use it. But I want you to take everything that you had and put it onto a calendar. This is when is it getting posted? And this will be a face to camera. So you'll end up with a calendar. You'll know what's getting posted when. Then you'll need to make your shot list. Hey, how can I batch these? I can film these both in the same day. I can do one mocktail this weekend and one mocktail next weekend. I can sit and I can make all 3 of my editorial carousels at once. I can sit and I can make all 3 of my visual lists at once. I can grab my personality shots and I can edit them all at once, right? So understanding like, hey, this is how it's going to happen when I actually go to create. And guys, I'm running out of time, so I'm going very quickly here, but this is how I would be thinking about it. I will put the Content Hub planning template and a video tutorial about how to use it. And then organizing all these shots in your phone, Kirsten, you are asking about is going to be you're going to make albums on your phone. So in your iPhone, if you don't have an iPhone, maybe I don't know if Android lets you do that. If it doesn't, I would make them within my Google Drive or on my desktop. But I would put them somewhere, right? Have a sorted way of grabbing your shots. And then I would also go on to Dupe Photos and I would save a bunch all at once. And I'd put them in an album of like stock images for the month. But you're gathering assets. We could honestly do a part 2 on like how to build a shot list, how to execute, how to batch, but that would be a whole nother like 2-hour thing if I really go into it. And so what I want you to say is, hey, I have all my assets. I have my content plan. And now each week, assemble, post, caption, assemble. So you're really only editing each week. You're taking the time, maybe once a month or once a quarter, depending on how much your brain can wrap around, to grab a bunch of lifestyle images, to grab a bunch of personality clips, to organize your assets. It's like if you were CEO of a company, you would not wake up on a Tuesday and be like, we need to do a post on nutrition. Let's quick film it and edit it. You would have that done ahead of time and you would just be editing and posting, right? So this is like operating as an owner of a marketing, like, what's the word? A marketing department. You're being your own marketing department, essentially. It requires some batching. It's going to require scheduling. When am I batching? When am I planning? When am I editing? My goal is to get this down to 2 hours a month eventually. It's going to be 4 hours a month for the actual editing and posting part. I'll have a content day, an organizing day, and then 1 to 2 hours a week where I actually make the posts themselves. I know this is probably overwhelming. We got through so much today, guys. If the batching and execution part feels fuzzy, just practice overlapping, like, okay, what would a personal brand piece in this format be? What would a sales piece in this format be? And cross-pollinating your post archetypes with your voice. Practice using your voice in each one of these. The first month, without going crazy on shot lists and over planning and sourcing. Let's say you don't have a bank of images. Let's say you don't have all the footage that you need and you don't have time to batch this weekend, right? Okay, put these on the calendar and execute them in real time. Start to understand what works, start to understand what doesn't. If I know I have to make 2 mocktails this month, I can go do that. And then I make 2 face-to-cameras. I can go do that. And then I make 5 personality reels. I can go do that. This starts to feel so doable, even if I'm treating it as a to-do list and I'm not batching. Do you guys agree? Even having it as a to-do list like this of knowing how many types, huge. And then we can get into advanced planning, which is batching, shot lists, grid planning, cover art, the visual edit, right? But for now, I just really want you to practice posting in your voice. That's as far as I could drive the ship in about 3 hours. So I want to give you guys brain time to marinate. And then I may record without y'all live, just do another episode of me actually going through the batching, the content calendar, and the assembly. Because I think that for me to do that with a screen recording going and then do a voiceover is going to be the easiest. I get so chatty with y'all because I want to interact with you and I love you. Um, these slides will be available. The content planning hub, this little template will be available. I will link up everything, Creative Market, Taylor Penton, the Google Chrome extensions, Dupe Photos, Unsplash. If you missed any of the resources, I'll bundle everything. And then I will be making a workbook in the next month. I can't promise it's going to be done tomorrow about how to actually implement this because I know that was a fire hose of information. If you took at least 3 things away today, go implement them and we can continue to refine and build on it. Cool beans? This is high level shit, you guys. I'm excited for you. So I hope you guys got something out of today. I have time to do Q&A, but you guys have also been on Zoom for a long time. So I'm happy to hop off as well. I'm going to end our recording and tell you guys if you're listening to the podcast or the replay. Huge thank you for hanging out with us, and I love you, and I'll see you guys in next week's episode. So, boom.